Ahoy, and welcome to the Captain's Cast. Mr. Producer, welcome to the premiere. The season premiere. It's been such a long time. Is it good to be back, Mr. Producer? It is, right? Vacation's overrated. It really is. It's been so long. Do I even remember how to do this? I have the coffees on the wrong side. That was refreshing. That was a refreshing hiatus, don't you think? Welcome to the Captain's Cast. I am your host, Captain Garrett, of the Swords and Starships channel, a channel primarily concerned with the pursuit and inspiration of originality, beauty, and truth in art, and specifically films, cinema, comics, games, etc. ad infinitum, which feature fantasy, historical, science fiction concepts, such as the titular Swords and Starships. And we're going to talk about Minecraft, a Minecraft movie. What was it? I don't know. I don't know what this was that I watched, but it was, the kids were liking it. The kids liked it. Let's face it. Asmongold had this clip. He had this thing that he said. Do I have this, Mr. Producer? In my video memes? Yes, that would be. Yeah, that's it. Here it is. I have it, but I don't know if I can share it. Yes, I can. I can share it. Here we go. This is... let's see. I would do... we're not off to a great start, folks. I'll show you later. But he basically had a phrase. He was referring to... What was he referring to? It was a video game. I think it was... No. It was AI art. It was AI animation. He was saying... He's like... Y'all are saying that... No, I got to do my Asmongold impression. Y'all are saying AI animation is slop. Well, the world's full of hogs. And I'll tell you something. It came to mind as I was watching a Minecraft movie. Jack Black, as I was saying to our dear Starfury in the Discord, link is in the description if you'd like to join us. I was saying to Starfury that Jack Black is a full-blown hurricane-strength force of nature in this film. I thought Jack Black was kind of like a side character in the film playing Steve. I thought he would just kind of pop in once in a while, you know. He is in everything. He is yelling at you through the screen almost the whole movie. He is exhausting. This is Jack Black doing an over-the-top impersonation of the most over-the-top version of Jack Black. It's like Jack Black has reached the stage where he is memeing on himself within a movie. So we'll talk about that. Snow White. Folks, you know what's interesting? I was sitting in the theater watching Snow White, the worst film experience, not just of this year, but of maybe the last 5 years. Of any experience, worse than Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, worse than the Marvels, worse than Barbie, worse than Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantum Nausea, and I hate that movie. I hate Quantumania. Snow White was worse than that. And I'm sitting in Snow White, and everyone is excited when Dopey speaks for the first time, and I thought, maybe I've got this all wrong. You know, it's a packed house. They're enjoying it. Maybe I'm just an ass. It's too early in the stream for swearing, Mr. Producer. Maybe I'm just a jerk face, okay? And this movie's going to make like $1 billion gazillion. It's possible. I don't know. So for the briefest, tiniest second, I considered the gaslighting of the media, the years of Disney shill gaslighting that no, this isn't what you're seeing. No, it's not as bad as it looks. Oh, you're just a right-wing, alt-right hater, and you just don't like it. You just don't like it that a stunning and brave Latinx woman, as she may or may not identify, is starring in this role, and that's why, and you just want it to fail, but it's really brilliant, and it's gonna succeed. And just for just the slightest second, that gaslighting got through it. I thought, maybe, as bad as it is, this film is going to be a success. And you know what? The film is a complete box office catastrophe. It is a complete, unmitigated, humiliating defeat for Disney. And do you know why? Because of course it is. Because of course it is. We saw this coming 2 years ago. 2 years. It was obvious that it was going to be trash. Trash ever since the 7 magical people, who turned out to be the 7 Seattle hippie bandits, leaked. Ever since that set photo leaked. Ever since the Nightmare Fueled Dwarves trailer. Ever since the 1 million dislike trailer ratio. We have known this film was a pile of crap that nobody asked for, nobody wanted. It was going to fail. It was plainly obvious. And yet, there's still this fictional debate in the media that it's going to succeed and that, it's all just ginned up fake hate. And guess what? It failed. It failed, folks. Mr. Producer, if you would. Yes. Failure. Because of course it failed. Because of course it did. What else was it going to do? It was written by stupid people. It was filmed, animated, costumed, designed, choreographed, composed, written, directed, produced, and greenlit by stupid people who eat glue. Of course it failed. That's the only fate possible for such a work of trash. Garbage. And the Minecraft movie, which I believe is best viewed either if you are 5 years old or high on acid, is better than Snow White. Listen, if you're like, we got to see something for the kids this weekend, and you're kind of weighing your options, just get really blitz. I'm just kidding. I'm not advocating drug use. Just get really, choose your beverage of choice and go watch Minecraft. You'll have a better time. Do I have my chat, Mr. Producer? I don't even have my chat, Mr. Producer. This is really bad. But before I get to the chat, okay, I forgot to play this when I reviewed Snow White. This is the final scene. I said this. The opening scene of Snow White is an unmitigated disaster. I was regretting my decision to sit in this movie in a theater immediately. I immediately regretted it. It was like the second this terrible musical number and all these people dancing around with these ring pop jewels and singing about communism. It was so bad. And then this is how the movie ends. Are you ready for this? Oh, wait. It didn't play. It didn't play. Where? Oh, it's because. Okay, hang on, Mr. Producer. Yeah. This is what we need to do. Hang on. Yeah, no, don't do that, Mr. Producer. We're on the clock here. There it is. Okay, here we go. Snow White ending scene. Oh my God! Have you ever seen? The dwarves weren't even the worst part of this movie. Okay, let me get to the chat, Mr. Producer. I did not even pull it up, which is very bad form on my part. I have to dashboard. I'm sure everybody's here. Everybody's chatting. There it is. There it is. They moved things on me, Mr. Producer. We have Staff here in the chat. Says, hail, hail, Staff here. We have Anthony. That would be Rondo in the chat. Says, sup, I thought the show was on hiatus. Well, it was. It was on hiatus. We were gone for how long were we gone, Mr. Producer? Yeah, at least 7 or 8. 9 even. Years, weeks, days, something like that. It's one of the 3. Okay, I will explain this in more detail as we get the show rolling. Why did I come back so fast? Well, I'm experimenting. I'm experimenting with things. I have my reasons. We'll get to that. Tim Allen is in the chat. Says, permission to come aboard. He has mead. Permission granted, sir. Assume you'll post. Fu Man Blue says it was only a week. Don't tell anyone that, Fu Man. Don't tell anyone that it was only a week. I couldn't stay away from you, my beloved audience. I couldn't stand it. It was interminable. It had to end. We'll get into more of that. Starfury says, who the F knows English is based on dyslexic monks translating the Bible? English is a beautiful language, Starfury. Spoken best by Californians. Fu Man Blue says, it's so weird to look back at the arc of Jack Black in my reality. I didn't know who he was, really, until I saw him kick that dog off the bridge and declare, that's how I roll. After that, I thought he was the shit. There is a universe where Jack Black can still be entertaining. There is. They played a music video before the film started of him sitting at a piano doing his Bowser musical number from the Super Mario movie, except it was him dressed up as Bowser and doing his whole thing. And I thought, this actually was pretty good in the Super Mario movie, but seeing him do it, he's a very entertaining guy. Here's the problem with him in this movie. He's not present in the story. Okay. It's hard to describe this, but basically he is acting on top of acting on top of acting. He's not taking anything that's happening in this story seriously. As a character, as an actor, he's just doing Jack Black stuff to everything that's happening. And there was a weird insincere quality to almost everything in this movie. There was a weird insincerity in almost, especially in his performance, but in almost every performance in the film, with maybe the exception of the characters of Natalie and what was the other guy? I forget his name. He's forgettable. But it was Jack Black and Jason Momoa were basically memeing. That was all it was. They were doing an internet meme, and they were very aware that they were doing it, kind of the way that you might be performative if you're trying to entertain a 5-year-old, like a dad who's trying to get a laugh out of his 5-year-old kid. And he knows it's all silly and he knows it's all nonsense, but that doesn't matter because he's just being entertaining and larger than life. That's what his performance felt like in the movie. There was no point in a Minecraft movie where there was tension, stakes, anything to worry about. I've never seen so much plot armor in my life. Literally at the moment where it would become inconvenient for a character to actually be in jeopardy, something magically appears, a character magically swoops in from absolutely nowhere and sweeps them out of the situation, and it's over. Or the sun comes up and the zombies are gone. There's no moment in which this film allows any real danger for the characters. Not a second. Even the half-hearted efforts of there's a subplot. It's the basic storyline is that a brother and a sister their mother has died and they've moved to this small town, and this is how they get swept up in this adventure. And the older sister is taking care of her younger brother as his guardian, And she's very afraid of losing what's left of her family. And that's sort of her character motivation. And I will tell you that is the most depth you're going to get out of the storyline in this. And there was some potential there, but then again, I don't know what you could really do with this movie. But I will just say, once they get into the Minecraft world and she's worried about something happening to her brother, it's so bizarre and removed from reality, and the actors are being so ridiculous at every second. The story itself isn't even taking itself seriously. So when she's like, "Oh, I'm afraid something will happen to him," it lands with absolutely no substance whatsoever. Like, nothing's going to happen to him. He's going to be fine. He's the main character. It's not a big deal. Like, chill. That's exactly how I felt the whole movie. And also, I'm watching this movie and I'm like, what is this? What is this? I'm going to tell you, this is why the movie's going to make a lot of money, though. This is why it's going to make a lot of money. A, it's Minecraft. That's number one. But number two, A, it's Minecraft. B, we got to stay with continuity right here of the bullet points. B, although it's dumb, and although the story is nonsense, and Jack Black is in his final terrible form, it has joy in it, and it is trying. It's trying. Like, there is an earnest attempt to please the Minecraft players with Easter eggs. Now, the problem is, if you're a sophisticated, like, adult Minecraft player, I don't think you're going to feel that this honored the source material at all. But if you're like a 7-year-old Minecraft player, you're going to love this movie because oh, look, the sheep did the sheep thing and the village people did the village the village people. The villagers. The villagers are doing the villager thing. Oh, look, the little magical block did the thing that magical block does. I don't know what any of this is because I don't play Minecraft. I'm just saying, judging by the reaction of the crowd, that was pleasing people, that they were memeing. So really what this movie is, it's an internet meme turned into a movie. That's what it is. What else? We got Redoubt Productions is in the chat and says the era of mainstream slop is in full force. It is Redoubt Productions. And a salute to you, sir, on the release of your new video. One man takes on a pillbox. Very well done, sir. Keep it up. Fu Man Blue says, I had never heard anyone say that either before. Then it was a double punch of hilarity. Tim Allen says, I need to drink 6 bottles of mead to watch Minecraft. A sad use of mead in my book. I would just, just in case. Just in case. Fu Man, I can't say that, Fu Man. Redoubt says, when was the last time Jack Black played a role that wasn't Jack Black? He's not playing Jack Black in this. He's not. You know how when a Saturday Night Live actor does an impersonation of another actor? Like, imagine a Saturday Night Live actor impersonating Chris Farley, okay? That's what Jack Black is doing. Jack Black is doing a Saturday Night Live skit of Jack Black. It's that ridiculous. He's not even taking himself seriously. Honest to God, I could almost see the edges where the green screen meets his character. He's just running around a set by himself doing Jack Black stuff. That's all this is. Nothing about it is about conveying a character, getting you invested in a story. They open this film with a voiceover of him narrating the story, and I thought, why even do this? Like, why even do this? He narrates this ridiculous ChatGPT generated. Just give me a generic bad guy plot for like a fantasy world. Just give me a generic, the witch queen of the pigs wants to get the magical thing, and a bunch of other bullshit. Who cares? Who cares? But the worst part is, They're trying to give you a way to plausibly get into the Minecraft world, right? Jack Black plays Steve. Body positivity, Steve. And when I say body positivity, he is very body positive in this film. Like more than even usual. There's a lot of body positivity in this film, come to think of it. And Jack Black is playing Steve, who is a human in the real world. And he's narrating how ever since he was a kid, he longed for the mine. I would love to see one of those poor African kids in a... This is a joke, okay? I realized the way that sounds like it. I would love to see one of those poor African kids who has to slave away in the lithium mines for first world economies to have all their cell phone batteries. I would love them to see this movie about the character Steve, who is a child who longs to be a miner and like go into a mine. It's one of those things where it's like, that's not a thing. That's just not a thing. Like there's so many. Even Skeleton Crew was better at this. In Skeleton Crew, that he's just a character that wants to go find a Jedi temple. That just leave it at that. Like he was exploring and he wanted to explore a mine and he fell into something and he found the thing and it took him into the magical world. That's all you need. Like you don't need this ridiculous. So this whole story is he was a kid who wanted to be a miner. Okay. And there was some weird old man guarding the mine. And he could never get... I swear to God, this is what is happening in the movie. There is a weird old geezer who looks like, your typical caricature of like a 49er, era gold miner. Which, that's not a thing. That doesn't exist. What? What is that? Okay, fine. And he's stopping the kid, Steve, from getting into the mine to mine, because that's what he wants to do. He wants to mine. Oh, God. I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. I can't see one more of these, folks. I can't do it anymore. I have got to see a quality film. My next one's got to be a quality film, Chad. I can't do this. Robert Meyer Burnett's like, I want films to be good. Believe me, RPG, so do I. That's not... Oh, man. Now, where was I, Mr. Producer? This is the first 5 minutes. I know. So he can't get by the miner. He grows up, becomes fat Jack Black. He's fat Jack Black. And he's got like some run-of-the-mill job that he hates. And then one day he's eating lunch and he decides that he still has this dream of being a miner and he should pursue being a miner. So he goes back to the mine. The exact same guy is still there and he just runs around him, goes into the mine. And that's when he finds the magical cube that takes him to the magical world of Minecraft. And then he starts building things in the magical world. And this is all in the beginning. They're narrating all this. And then he crosses paths with the evil pig witch. No, not Rachel Zegler. And her minions, her pig minions. And they want this magical cube because this will give them the power to conquer the world or something like that. And then we cut to the main characters and Jason Momoa at his public humiliation ritual. But I'm just like, okay, why not have it be some kind of story? Plausible seems like the wrong word because we're talking about Minecraft here, but if you're gonna do it this way. Okay, this is the same mistake that Barbie made, okay? What was Barbie's mistake? Barbie's mistake was double mumbo jumbo. That would be a reference to Blake Snyder's famous little rules for screenwriters. You can have one occurrence of mumbo jumbo in a film. That's a magical plot device or a magical power or a character or an extraordinary situation that a character is placed in. That's mumbo jumbo. In other words, something that makes it difficult for the audience to suspend disbelief. But audiences are willing to suspend disbelief for at least one occurrence of mumbo jumbo, but two strains it. Now, don't misunderstand. We're talking about two independently occurring mumbo jumbos, right? if there's one source of mumbo jumbo and from that flows all the rest of the magical plot devices in the film, that's fine. That's totally fine, right? The problem arises when you have a one set of mumbo jumbo, in this case, the Minecraft world. That's mumbo jumbo, the Minecraft world, all of it. Every level of it, that's the mumbo jumbo, okay? So the real world needs to be the real world. Same deal with Barbie. The Barbie world is mumbo jumbo, but when she steps out of that world, it needs to be the real world. Elf did this successfully. That would be the film with Will Ferrell, the Christmas movie, Elf. The North Pole is mumbo jumbo. Then Buddy the Elf steps out of that world, and in the real world, that's real, okay? And it works. In Barbie, she steps out of the mumbo jumbo Barbie world into the mumbo jumbo world of Mattel, and that's the problem with the film. And the Minecraft movie does the same thing, because the real world is a bunch of mumbo jumbo. It's absurd. It's completely absurd. So why not just make the whole movie animated? Just make it be characters that... They should have done this like the Mario movie. That's how they should have done this. Captain, you describing this plot has become white noise, says Redoubt Productions. I'm sorry, but what the hell is this movie? I don't know, Redoubt. I don't know. I walked out of it. I was like, what was this? This was the most nonsense I've ever seen. It's so bad. It's like, just... But you know, it's such low effort nonsense. That's the thing that bothers me about it, is that it's not even Super Mario Brothers. The Super Mario Brothers world of like the Toads and Princess Peach, of course, that's all mumbo jumbo. But the Mario movie took it seriously, and it worked, and it had a congruence to it. The problem with a Minecraft movie is Jack Black is not even taking himself seriously in this movie. Jason Momoa is definitely not taking this seriously. The other characters are giving it a half-hearted effort of taking it seriously, but it's so... But then, you know, because usually I'm sitting in a movie like this, and I'm thinking, how would I fix this, right? And usually I can come up with kind of some ideas. And in this case, I thought, I don't think this is fixable. I don't think there's any way to fix this because the Minecraft world is itself so bizarre. I just can't picture a version of this movie that has a cohesive story that works in film. Like that's the issue is, okay, just set aside Minecraft and it being what it is. You need to tell a cohesive story in film. And there is just a certain, you know, it's a 2-hour story. There's a way to do this. And I don't know how you do that with Minecraft. And apparently neither did the creatives. And it's still going to make like $1 gazillion because it's Minecraft. And it's absolutely blowing up at the box office. It's like $300 million already worldwide. It's totally... poor Snow White. Oh, poor Snow White. She's over there crying in her dress. I know you're a Minecraft fan, Redoubt. Any other Minecraft fans in here? Look, the kids were loving this movie, and I was happy for them. I was like, yeah, you know, here's what was happening. A bunch of nonsense that I don't understand was playing across the screen, but there were clearly moments that were nods and Easter eggs for the game. And I could always tell because like the villagers would speak in that, right? And that the kids loved that. They're like, oh, that's what they do. That's what they do in the game. And I'm like, okay, so that's what the movie is. It's a string of like, oh, that's what that thing does in the game. That's what the zombies do in the game. That's what the little green grass guy that explodes does in the game. And even though I've never played the game, just the reaction of the crowd, I could tell, oh, okay, yeah, that's something that's going on in the game. And that pleased the crowd. That made the crowd happy. Now, what I will say is, that is probably why I would say this is a better film than Snow White. It's definitely a better film than Snow White. Well, for a lot of reasons, but that's the number one reason. The film actually wants to make the audience happy. I know how silly that sounds. Could you guys hear the audio when I played the Snow White, like, clip. Leftists have no idea what effort is, says Rit Star Fury. They put a lot of effort into pronouns. Redoubt Production says they put a lot of effort into making sure that violent international gangs get to stay here. They put a lot of effort into that. Redoubt Production says Super Mario Brothers movie was basic, but good basic. The basic where everyone felt their money was well spent. Maybe not on the movie itself, but the popcorn and soda that went with the viewing. Yeah, I mean, it was all right. It was, at least it took itself seriously. Skunk's Workshop says, I'm a huge Minecraft. Sorry, Skunk's Minecraft fan. Ahoy, Skunk's Workshop. Redoubt Production says, I played Minecraft in its early days. I wasn't really a diehard player. I just went into creative mode and built reproduction of Star Forts. That's a normal thing to do, right? Perfectly normal, Redoubt. Tim says, no, I'm not a fan of Minecraft. I play Neverwinter Nights Expanded Edition and Star Wars Empire at War. I remember Empire at War. That's an oldie. That's a 90s game, isn't it? That was a long time ago. Yes. Words 789 says, I am Steve. So, I honestly don't know. I don't know if you're a Minecraft player, if you're going to like super enjoy this movie or not. That's kind of up in the air. Because I don't know if it was honoring the lore. All I can tell you is the plot was complete nonsense. It seemed to want you to be happy, though. That's the one thing. The movie seemed to want you to be happy. So for that reason, the captain is going to give Minecraft about... what score should I give it, Mr. Producer? I think I'll give it a... This is not based on personal preference. This is based on how I think... I'm tempted to give it a 4 out of 10. I'm tempted to give it a 4 out of 10. And it's getting points for wanting to make the audience happy. It's just nonsense, though. It's complete ChatGPT writing. It's complete nonsense. And it is peak millennial dialogue. Oh, my God. The millennial dialogue in this is so overbearing. It's so bad. I figured it out. It's millennial dialogue. That's the problem in our society. Yeah, I mean, also, this is the problem in our society. It's just a nightmare. Is it? Now, do you guys get audio when I play that? Because I'm not hearing the audio. That's my problem, not yours. Now, just for fun, Tony's at it again. I caught this on Asmongold.
I have been misgendered 3 times in the past 24 hours at rest.
Sir, don't worry, we got you. Have you ever seen such a convenient LED sign? Just put in batteries and light them up, all with a single plug. We can do different colors and fonts, and you can take it anywhere you want.
Problem solved.
There are people who like to argue that children are too young to know they are trans, and they are incorrect.
Delete that shit. Anyways, check out.
I get compared to Jesus a lot on this channel and many others.
Get a doctor. Anyways, this is.
Just called me ugly. But that's not even technically possible.
Anyways, how to know your spend on science worthwhile.
Here's a list of places I will not, under any circumstances, be going in 2025.
Gym. Anyways, like this. Yep, still look like a man. Anyways,
Yep.
Alright, anyways, this is our intern Macy.
Anyways, we've been making signage for more than 50 years. Any size can be with 3 years warranty.
Bro looks proud. He does. Yeah. She's doing it the right way. She's saying the right things. Absolutely.
Shit.
Hat tip to Tony and Asmongold. I get a kick out of those. I love... Sir! And there's like the little flag on the video. This video promotes hate towards identities. No, it laughs at them. It laughs at them, which is the God-given right of every human being on this planet is to point their finger and laugh at other humans. That's just the fact, or at least, especially abnormal humans. What I meant to say is, when are these wackos not promoting hate? That's all they ever do. They hate everything. I'm sorry, chat. That was a bit more. I hadn't watched it myself. I was just like, I saw that come up in my feed. I'm like, throw that in the stack of stuff. That was punishing. Okay, I didn't mean to punish you. So you hear the audio, Tim Allen, on the Snow White thing? Okay, cool. I just couldn't hear it, so I just wanted to be like dead air. Cool, thank you. Yeah. Redoubt Productions mentions Jumanji. It sounds like whoever made this took the basic premise of the Jumanji reboots and stapled Minecraft onto the posters. Jumanji was able to create a sort of board game fantasy world in which real people get pulled into it. And Robin Williams, by the way, basically fills a similar role to Steve, because Robin Williams, also a comedic actor, also capable of physical comedy and all that sort of thing. He's a guy that got lost in this world and he survived there since he was a kid. That's a much better setup, by the way. And when you get pulled into the world of Jumanji, let's just deal with the first film. I don't really know what the quality of all the sequels are. But the first film, there is a clear sense of real danger throughout the whole film. Like, there is a feeling that the characters are in peril. You never feel that in the Minecraft movie. Part of that is because Jack Black is so obnoxious and he's not taking it seriously at all. Part of that is because the comedy is very uneven. Sometimes it's very meta and it's making fun of the entire premise of the movie, such as there's a whole subplot about one of the villagers escapes from the Minecraft world, and all they can do is say, they can't really say anything. And so he winds up on this date with Stifler's mom, who's in this movie as the school principal, and she's going through a divorce, and she winds up on this date with him, and she just loves it. She's just enamored with him, and she thinks he's Swedish. It's so stupid. But it's clear that, so here's a person in the real world who's acting as though she can't tell that this is not a human, right? And the problem with that is, well, that's parody. That's parody. And that's fine, because that could be very funny. But then the rest of the other parts of the movie want you to take it seriously. They want you to be worried about the pigs and the pig witch. Not Rachel Zegler. I didn't say that. I didn't say it was Rachel Zegler was the pig witch. I didn't say that. I said the pig witch, and I don't know what her name is. It's not Zegler. But in the movie, Minecraft, the pig witch is trying to take over the world. They gave her a backstory. Why did they do that? They gave her a fucking backstory. And it's so random. It's so tacked on. It doesn't add or subtract anything. There's no reason to even tell the backstory. She's so generic. All the characters in this are so generic to begin with. Like, dude, don't even bother. Like, I don't need to know their motivations. Just the fact, dude, the fucking animating desire of Jack Black in this movie is he wanted to be a miner as a kid. That's not a thing. That's not a motive. That's the most insanely nonsensical thing I could imagine. It's so stupid. Already, this movie is completely ridiculous. It's complete nonsense. And I'm not saying so giving the pig witch, I did not Zegler, the pig witch a motivation it's superfluous. There's no reason. You're already asking me to buy into a character who wanted to be a coal miner as a kid, which is absurd. That's not a thing. So already you're saying just suspend all intelligent thought, remove all questions from your mind, become a mental content zombie, and accept content. That's basically what this film is telling me right at the beginning. So why then bother with nuance? Like, why even try? But in any case, so the pig witch, like all through the movie, she's generic mustache twirling villain who's evil for the sake of being evil, much like Gal Gadot's evil queen in Snow White. And the pig witch, what? No, who said? No, not Snow White. No, the pig witch. It's a different thing. No, Mr. Producer. Okay, hang on. Cough camera. I did not say that the pig witch was Rachel Zegler. Nobody in the chat said that either. She's not. No, definitely not. She's not. Anyway, so the pig witch was in some kind of like Minecraft version of So You Think You've Got Talent, basically, and she was in like American Idol, like a singing competition, or for Star Fury, Britain's Got Talent. Yeah, because Star Fury wouldn't know what America's Got Talent is. They'd be like, what is he talking about? It's like Britain's Got Talent, Star Fury. So she was in some kind of competition, and like the equivalent of the Simon Cowell type just told her she sucked. And she was awful, and she had no future. This is in the dead center of the movie, by the way. This is in the dead center of the movie for no reason at all. They just introduced, and she was laughed at. And that's when she decided that creativity was bad. What? Who cares? I care. I don't care. I don't care why she is the way she is. She's the way she is so the plot can happen. Let me just explain something. Every line of dialogue in this film, every single event that happens, just tack on the phrase, so the plot can happen immediately afterwards. It's that basic. It is that... There's no substance to anything in this movie. It's literally like, how about if the kid builds a rocket pack in his middle school class? In the real world, that works. It'll work. He just builds it in an afternoon. What? And how about a bully sabotages it and it knocks down the giant peanut mascot of the company where his sister has just started her new job as the social media marketing manager? What? So the plot can happen. And then how about if Jack Black grows up and decides he still wants to be a miner so the plot can happen, and he goes back to the mine, and the same miner who is not aged at all and he's not, as far as we know, a mythical creature of any kind, is still standing guard at the entrance of the mine, stopping him, and he walks around him to get into the mine so the plot can happen. That is the animating feature. How about the sun comes up and the zombies stop attacking the characters so that the plot can continue? That's the whole movie. It's so I can't. But you know what's funny is they establish why the pig witch wants to end all creativity. Is that she was laughed at in the Minecraft equivalent of Britain's Got Talent for Stop It and America's Got Talent for everyone else. And they established that, and they never revisit it. Like, they never come back to it, like, even once. Why bother? Why even bother? It's so bizarre. I get out of this movie, I'm like, what was this? What the hell was this? And it's going to make like $1 billion. What do you think of that, chat? Star Fury says Britain has no talent. Yo, don't say that, Star Fury. It has you. Tony is a marketing guru, says Staff Hit 8. Yes, I would agree. Tony is a genius, says Tim Allen. Agree. reacting cubed, says Fu Man Blue. Yes, it might even be like reach a level of tesseract. It might, I don't know it might be a tesseract of reacting. That's where I'm reacting to someone who's reacting to someone who's reacting to someone who's reacting in another timeline. Let that bake your noodle. What's next in the stack of stuff? We'll probably kind of come back and forth with Minecraft. I mean, my basic thoughts on it are it's an acid trip, man. It's just shit happening. Like, let me give you one example. Let me give you one example of where this movie illustrates how much it does not care about telling any kind of meaningful story. It does not care about any actual stakes or tension, any kind of investment. You know, they have Jason Momoa's character who, I am sorry to report this to you, chat. This is very bad news. I hope you're sitting down when you hear this. They named this character that Jason Momoa plays, they named him Garrett. His name is Garrett. And I was very insulted by that. It was frustrating because I'm sitting in the theater and they keep saying, Garrett, you're dumb. And I'm like, no, what did I do? Oh, it's the character. Fine. So anyway, there's a scene where Garrett the garbage man, that's what they call him in the movie. That would be Jason Momoa's just humiliated, just pathetic character. And he has this plot arc of kind of a has-been nobody who's still reliving the glory days of being, he won a video game championship in the 80s, and he runs like a failing video game store. And so the whole thing is he just wants to get rich. He wants to find diamonds in the Minecraft world. And so he's kind of like pretending to care about the plight of the Minecraft world while secretly planning to line his pockets or whatever. But, you know, he's generally portrayed as he wants to be a hero. He wants to be a leader. He wants to be a good guy. Okay, fine. And the whole movie it's the typical thing. The guy out for himself learns what really matters and turns out to be a hero in the end, you know. But there's this scene where they're standing on the edge of a cliff. Him, Steve, as played by Jack Black, and the kid, what's his name? Mr. Producer. I almost said Star Fury. Star Fury's not the producer. What am I looking for? Oh, yes. A Minecraft movie. I just need to get... What's the name of the kid? Henry. That's right. Henry. Of course. So Henry is standing... they kind of try to make him the protagonist of the film, like he's got all this creative vision. They never do anything with it. They never do anything with really any of the characters' unique talents at all. It's basically just a circus and a meme and a parody, the whole damn movie, and they never bother to actually develop any of kind of the setup they did in the beginning with the characters and their talents and their, you know, their flaws and what their desires are and their failures and all that stuff. They never do anything with it. So you've got Garrett, Steve, and Henry standing on this cliff, and Steve says, "Oh, I've got these wings, and these wings will help you fly." And he puts them on. Who has the wings? I think it's Momoa. Momoa has the wings, and then Henry has the wings. And Momoa says, "Are these wings actually going to work?" And Steve says, "Absolutely, they'll work," in his typical Jack Black voice. And so Momoa pushes Henry off the cliff. And he's like, "Those are going to work, right?" And I'm like, dude, he just committed murder. He just murdered him. Does this movie not understand what it's saying by doing this? Like, it's one thing. It's one thing if he talks the kid into trying it first or something. But the fact that he pushes Henry off of the cliff to test whether the wings will work. Well, now he's just crossed the line. Now he's not a rogue, a selfish dude that's out for himself. He is a almost manslaughter murderer. It's unbelievable. I was like, oh, how funny. How funny that he almost killed this kid. It's so ridiculous. This movie, but then the wings work. So the plot can happen. You see what I mean? You see the problem with this movie? It's like it doesn't care at all about. There's never a moment when there's any kind of sense that anyone's going to get in harm's way. So there you have it. Yes, the chat having a grand old time talking about Motorhead. Now, I have this article. Let me pull up this article. Because you may be wondering, dear chat, like, well, how's this movie doing? Is it doing well? Per Deadline, a Minecraft movie takes over the world with, get ready for this, chat, a $301 million global opening. I mean, it's absolutely blowing up. I think, well, the thing is, Minecraft is, and Jeremy, the commander over there, D-Day Cobra, I totally believed him when he predicted this is going to be a massive movie because Minecraft is just a massive intellectual property. So even if a small percentage of the Minecraft player fan base comes out for this, it's going to be huge. And he was dead on right about that. Sunday update. A Minecraft movie has come in with an astounding $301 million. Of that, $144 million is from the international box office. Talk about a blockbuster. Oh, shut the... Oh, my God, Deadline, you disgust me. The overseas gross is from 75 markets, etc., etc. What else do we have? In IMAX, a $19.4 million global debut marks the best for the format since last summer's Deadpool and Wolverine. Overall, in Europe, this is the biggest opening of 2025, the second biggest video game adaptation opening behind Mario by 6%. This thing is nipping at Super Mario Brothers' heels. The UK, this is you, Stavire, totally dug into Minecraft with a huge $19.9 million, which is like 100 million in pounds or something. And the biggest opening ever for Black and Momoa in China. Now that phenom Neza 2 has started to settle, Minecraft ran the weekend in China. The weekend there was 14.5 million. Okay, pretty good. In the Nordic region. Okay, we're getting a little too granular here. So it's absolutely crushing it. Anything else I want to hit in this article? It's 300 million worldwide. It's absolutely... And poor Snow White. The poor Snow White is sitting over there just wishing that this kind of number was possible. I have the numbers for Snow White. Do you want to see the numbers for Snow White? Here it is. Load that one up, Mr. Producer. HatTipComicBookMovie.com. Snow White may fail to hit $100 million at domestic box office after disastrous 60% drop. Failure. Defeat. Disney's latest live-action regurgitation, Snow White, could be in danger of failing to hit the $100 million box office milestone in North America after... Oh, you're going to love this, chat. Taking in just $1.5 million on Friday. It just barely, just limping along. Disney's Snow White, it took in just 1.5 on Friday, dropping 60% from its daily total 1 week ago. The movie is now in fourth place at the domestic box office. Minecraft movie is in number one, of course. Currently sitting at 72 million as of time of writing. Putting Snow White in danger of missing the $100 million milestone in North America, this would be A disastrous result for a film with a reported budget of $250 million, which is bullshit. That's a total lie. It's way more than that because of all the reshoots and etc. Snow White received mixed negative reviews from critics. It now dropped to 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, but audiences did seem to be getting a little more out for it. 71%. I don't believe that score. I do not believe the audience score for this. Now, is it as low as 40? Maybe not. But 71%, I think that's a fake score. Disney has the juice to do that. Because on IMDb, the audience, it's like 1.5 on IMDb. B+ on Cinema Score, that's just, fine. Well, as it was stated, it may be slop, but the world's full of hogs. I'm not referring to Rachel Zegler when I say that. What do you mean? Why do I bring it up? You brought it up. I didn't bring it up. I said I don't. I said I'm not saying that the hogs are referring to Rachel Zegler. I'm not saying that. It's called We Do a Little Trolling. Now, one of the fun things about going to see a movie that you don't want to see in order to torture yourself so that you can farm content for your beloved YouTube audience, one of the extra little perks of that is that I get to see movie trailers that are even worse than the movie I just watched. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. I saw, this might be some version of the trailer that showed up.
This summer, when we need a hero, look up.
I think I just smurfed my pants.
Yeah, this is the one.
Please don't stop the music. In Smurf Village, every day is a party. Every Smurf.
Oh my God. You want to talk about you want to talk about slop. I'm not going to do the whole thing because it's got all this music in it. You know what they're doing? They're just doing long-form TikTok videos now. That's all these are. They're like long-form TikTok videos. They have a musical track that will attract views. You know, an old 90s pop song. They're just running it. They're just running it as the backdrop. It's just the background noise that will trip the algorithm so that people will watch this video. That's all it is. And then they're just running gags that, you know, are like little TikTok videos that are all stitched together. That's all these movies are anymore. They're not stories. They're not films. They're not adventures. They're just stuff happening.
This July,
Come on, we gotta rescue Papa.
to save their world, run away.
Let's go.
They must come to us.
See, that's the next pack. I can't even play it because I'm gonna get copyrighted. But it's like it's the background track in a TikTok video. That's all it is.
Smurf till all you Smurfs are squashed.
At Wizards Gargamel and his brother Rosamel.
We're going to play a game called Let's Squish a Smurf till all you Smurfs are squashed.
That is what I mean when I say millennial dialogue. This is how millennials write now. This is hat tip Asmongold, because he was the one that like theorized this. And I was like, you know what? He's exactly right about this. He is exactly right about this. This is what it is. It's in all the video games now. It's in all the movies now. It's like unfunny people trying to be funny by pointing out how unfunny they are. That's what it is. It's funny because he said something redundant, which is not funny, but it's funny because we know it's not. You know what it is? It's reverse psychology humor. So they are reverse psychologizing you into thinking it's funny. That's what they're trying to do, because they're like, oh, that was very not funny, right? And you're like, I get it. That's funny. So because he says, I am going to squish you until you are squished, which is a tautology, and that's a bad way to speak. It's a very unimaginative way to speak. It's a poor turn of phrase. So how can I put this into context? This is probably going to seem like a non sequitur. Okay, this is probably going to seem like a non sequitur. Okay, I think I can find this. I want to read to you what was the purpose of being a writer throughout most of human history? What was the purpose? Like, if you like, that is, you wanted to produce works that were celebrated and read widely. Shakespeare. What was Shakespeare doing when he had all those clever turns of phrase in his plays that delighted audiences? When we say something is well written, we say that it is Shakespeare. Why do we say that? Because Shakespeare put very careful thought and effort into how to make the characters sound, right? He even wrote in a poetic form that was pleasing to the ear, known as iambic pentameter. Why did he do that? Because it was pleasing to listen to, and it was actually better than how average people speak, because it was all put together in this perfect little format. Films used to try for this. Nolan films still do. But films used to try for this, right? Which was to create turns of phrase that were clever and interesting, and they tugged at the imagination. That was the purpose. When something was said to be literary, that was why, because it was so beautifully written. Beautifully written. Do you want to hear something that's beautifully written? Here it is. And I quote, "All that is gold does not glitter. Not all those who wander are lost. The old that is strong does not wither. Deep roots are not reached by the frost. From the ashes a fire shall be woken. A light from the shadows shall spring. Renewed shall be blade that was broken. The crownless again shall be king." Close quote. That would be J.R.R. Tolkien from The Lord of the Rings. Just the construction of every word, the sound of it, but not even just the construction of the phrase, but like what it's conveying. Deep roots are not reached by the frost. That's such a beautiful way of saying that, the old that is strong does not wither. It's just incredible when you think about how much that one little phrase is saying because of how it is phrased. Okay? That used to be the aim of writing. And now, the aim of writing by stupid people who eat glue is to point out how not well written it is, because that's good. That's funny. Ow, my balls. Ow, my balls.
That doesn't sound like a fun game.
Team up with the evil wizards Gargamel and his brother Rosamel.
We're going to play a game called Let's Squish a Smurf Till All You Smurfs Are Squashed.
That's writing now. That's writing. That's the aim now. To write in such a way that you can laugh at how badly written it is. It's like it's Ouroboros. It's the snake eating its own tail. It's like a perfect. It's dystopian. It's dystopian to watch this trailer. I hate this. I hate this trailer so much. I'm sitting in the theater. I'm like, oh, I hate this. I didn't even have all these ways of. I couldn't put it into words why I hated it so much. I just knew deep in my soul this is deeply wrong. This is not right. This is not how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? And now that I'm sitting here with you, I can tell you why I hate it so much. And this is why. We go from all that is gold that does not glitter to this shit. Trash. garbage.
Find out what
This is slop to feed the hogs. No, not Rachel Zegler. I'm not saying she's a hog.
a Smurf really is.
To a whole new dimension.
What's happening?
Hang on!
Oh yeah, I love that one, right? Where they take an old popular song, because we don't make new songs that are popular now or iconic. You take an old popular iconic song and you slow it down and you make it super duper dramatic. That's right. It's super dramatic.
That was absolutely terrifying.
I think I swallowed my gum.
Smurfs.
Oh my god, it's so funny. It's so funny. I'm gonna watch that movie while I'm taking a dump. That's I can't. What do you want me to do, Jeff? I can't do it anymore. Redout Productions says, we blame Gen Z, we blame millennials, we blame boomers, and Gen X keep trucking out, or so I've observed. They kind of slipped under the radar, the Gen Xers. They were kind of on that line, you know. They were sort of, they were counterculture back in their day. I think Gen Z has the potential to set things right. I do. I really do. As I'm a millennial saying this, I think Gen Z has great potential, if it can be realized, to turn this shit around. I really do. I really do. I feel like Gen Z, this is really interesting to me. Because, you know, I grew up where video games were still in their infancy. We're talking Nintendo, Super Nintendo, arcade games. They were still very basic. It was a new art form at that time. Now you have an entire generation, and it's Generation Z and Alpha now, are growing up with mobile games, Oculus headsets. They're growing, like, video games are simply part of the fabric of pop culture now. From womb to tomb. And what's fascinating to me about this is it seems to be Gen Z, just my opinion, Gen Z has a reawakened hunger and desire for real experiences. You just look at the poll numbers. They're returning to religion, traditionalism. They seem to be more interested in, like, self-reliance and those kinds of ideas. I think that it's possible that they may go in search of adventure and bring back treasure for the tribe. I really do. I really do. So you may be wondering, why did the captain come back after such a short hiatus? Why did I come back so quickly? I mean, I wouldn't say it was super short. It was pretty long. It was like almost a whole week. So that's like a long time to be away from you, my dear sailors and star knots. So I'm going to give you that answer, but first the captain needs to take a short break. I'll be right back. And we are back. Sorry, forgot to turn the mic on. Forgot to open the mic there. My bad. Now, I was about to say, why did I come back so quickly? Well, because my thought was I needed to focus on certain priorities, and this takes up a certain block of time, and I was trying to rearrange my schedule so that I could get important work done. But the interesting thing is that very first day, that I was sitting here not doing this on a Sunday for the first time in like, I don't know, at least a year and a half, I think, since February 2023. 2 years. It's basically 2 years. It felt strange. It felt really, really strange. I was like, I'm supposed to be doing this today. And I couldn't get anything else done. I couldn't. I was like, and I was sad. I was really sad. Foman Blue is like my favorite pub is closing. And I was like, I know, that's how I feel. And then I thought, well, I really considered it, and it was useful. It was a very useful experience, actually, because many times in my life, I've made sacrifices to pursue the things I want to do, such as writing books, right? You know, I've given up a lot of, I could probably be pretty well off by this point because I have other talents. I have things I could do that are more conventional. But I pursue art. And it's a very difficult thing to pursue for many reasons. And I've made sacrifices. I've moved to places. I've given up opportunities. And oftentimes when I've had to say goodbye to a place or a job or something like that where, things were maybe comfortable or whatever, it's very difficult. There's a grieving process. Even when you're excited to go on your new adventure, it's like saying goodbye to something you've been used to. I guess what I'm trying to say is I've done that too many times in my life at this point, and I'm not willing to do it again. I was like, I'm not doing this again. I've left writers groups that were the highlight of my week, and just because I moved or whatever, and I had to go through a process of like loss and grief and acceptance and moving on. And I'm just not going to do that for 3 months with the Captain's Cast. And the second part of that also is that, is it serving the purpose that I want it to serve? Is removing this from my calendar helping me make progress? And what I felt was it's not actually helping me make progress. It's a step backwards in progress. That's what it felt like. Now, maybe on paper, I'm wrong about that. Maybe in a strictly strategic sense, I'm incorrect. But, this is actually, to me, the great weakness of strictly intellectual thinking. I would say in my 20s, all I cared about was rationalism and reason and logic. Everything was about what could be proven, what could be known, what was fact and what was not fact. And I'm not saying those things aren't important, but lately I've come around to a less hard sci-fi way of looking at things, let's just say. A more spiritual way of looking at things in life. I've come lately in life to believe that we are not just bags of meat walking around with consciousness. I think we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Believe me, Lieutenant Garrett would not recognize this version of Garrett. He just wouldn't. Lieutenant Garrett was all about what's real and what's not real, what can be proven, what can't be proven. And again, science, reason, logic, all very important. Don't misunderstand. But there's more to life than just the intellectual. There's more to knowledge than the intellectual. I'm serious about this. There is more to knowing the universe than what we can see, touch, or taste. There's more to the universe than what science can tell us. It's just a fact. And this is why I find the long man, Mahler, the surgeon, his argument, and the critical drinker, by the way, their arguments, and we're not going to debate Interstellar. Don't worry, I'm not going to make a case for Interstellar. But when they say that Interstellar is dumb because love is not the fifth dimension, not only do I think that that's an unfair critique of the film, I think they're wrong. I think they're actually wrong about that because they're viewing the world exactly as I used to view it in my 20s, I would say, and in my earlier life, in my teens. I viewed I viewed the world the way they do, in that sense of like pure logic and reason, and I would have agreed with them on that basis, but it's simply, I no longer believe that. I think there's more to life than that. And so that is all to say that when I was sitting there feeling the experience of not doing the show for a week, I had to listen to what I felt about it. And even though on paper this might look like the right decision or it might be valuable, I think it was valuable. It was valuable to run that experiment. And I said, my gut is telling me, my feeling is telling me that I need to continue this and that this is a good thing in my life and it's worth continuing. And whatever means by which the other priorities I need to accomplish get accomplished, they must be accomplished in conjunction with this. That is the correct way to accomplish those things. I came to that conclusion. I said, to hell with it. I'm not doing this again. I'm coming back. And so here we are. And Mr. Producer, we are back. We are back, and we're happy to be back. Oh, that was the longest week of my life. You don't even know. Yeah, we're not doing it again, are we, Mr. Producer? Mr. Producer was out of a job. Mr. Producer was out of an unpaid internship. He was like, what am I going to do? I mean, I'm no longer being unpaid. What am I going to do? I got to find another gig, another unpaid gig to replace my unpaid status. And I sympathize with that. Because at the end of the day, it's very simple, folks.
We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender!
Get him, Sir Winston! Yes! We shall never surrender! Never! Redoubt Productions says, come on, Captain. I'll back you up in debating Drinker or Interstellar. Yes! I have a second wingman. I'm so happy. Fu Man Blue. Me and Fu Man Blue have been doing the Lord's work. Just at the gates, just fighting the unwashed masses that hate Interstellar. Me and Fu Man Blue, just shoulder to shoulder. Now we have a third now. Redoubt Productions is covering our other flank. It's fantastic. We will fight for Interstellar. Fu Man Blue says change sucks. Yeah, and change is unavoidable, Fu Man Blue. It's unavoidable. We gain things, we lose things. That's the deal. There's nothing, this isn't about resisting change. And I had that thought, like, am I just afraid of like making a change? And I said, I've done that. I've been there. I've done that. I've been through this experience more times than I can count. I'm ready to just do what my instincts are telling me to do. And so it's not about, sometimes change is not necessary. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is. Starfury says, we missed the captain, you asshole. Never do it again. I'm sorry, Starfury. I apologize. Can't you forgive me? Mr. Producer, I need help here. I need some help. This is emergency. Yes, this is break glass in case of emergency. Run it. Jeez, don't make me wait any longer. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry for leaving you, my dear chat. Can you forgive me? Can you find it in your heart to forgive your captain for abandoning you? leaving you on the steps of some church with the nuns to fend off the hogs eating the slop alone? No, not Rachel Zegler. That's not what I'm talking about when I reference hogs. You know that. Starfury knows that. It was a mistake, okay? We all make them. Can't you forgive me? And send super chats. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to send super chats. I should. What? No, I can't cry on command, Mr. Producer. I know it might help, but that's not what this is about. Mr. Producer wants me to tug on your heartstrings just a little more, you know what I'm saying? But forgive me. It'll never happen again, my dear chat. You ain't never getting rid of me. Save the life of a shill. That's my shill sad violin music. Ahoy, Tom! I know you're out there, Tom. I just, he doesn't always pipe in, but I know he's out there. Someone passed the 6-sack. Gay, says Starfury. Fu Man says, oh my god, the mistake music is a lot. It worked, didn't it? Oh, whoa! Oh, it did work. It so worked because Wrangler just sent a $4.20 super chat. Thank you, Wrangler. I salute you, sir. I should do the whole season finale, season premiere thing more often, shouldn't I, Mr. Producer? Grift it, man. No, Tim Allen says, I will forgive you for telling me to watch Interstellar. Oh, this makes me sad. This wounds me. This wounds me, Tim Allen. But, you can't get... Look, I showed Godzilla -1 to the wrong audience, and it's like one of the best films I've ever seen. And then you see the reaction of the wrong audience. Of course, it was the English dub, which didn't help. And it was like, yeah, you just have to accept that it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's just not going to be everyone's cup of tea. No one can be forgiven for that. Come on, Starfury. Look, the problem is it's kind of like telling someone to experience Empire Strikes Back, right? It's like, I want you to experience Empire Strikes Back for the first time. The problem is you've already grown up in a society where everyone repeats the line, Luke, I am your father. And it's like it spoiled the greatest twist in movie history. So you can't really experience it. And that's the problem with Interstellar. You've been told too much about it, Tim Allen. You didn't see, you weren't brought into it like seeing the trailers, getting a little excited for it, going to the theater, not knowing what it was going to be like, and just experiencing it. That's what it is. You just have to experience it and go with it. And the problem is you've heard too much about it. You heard me talk about it, which spoiled the elements of it. And then you went and watched it, and you're like, yeah, it's, there's some cornfields and a black hole, and what's the big deal? What's the big deal? By the way, I had to trim the last Captain's Cast where I showed my favorite action sequence in all of film history, the docking scene. And I had to trim it out because I got copyright blocked in the UK, which means that if Starfury wanted to sift through the last 4 hours of Captain's Cast brilliant content and relive all of his favorite moments, he wouldn't be able to watch it because of that one little clip of Interstellar, which I'm sure he would miss not being able to see. He wouldn't be able to see the whole stream because that one little clip I played of the docking scene of Interstellar. So I had to take that out so that Starfury can relive the entire 4 hours as many times as he wants without any interruption except that missing scene. And Redoubt Production says the wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey BS only rears its ugly head at the tail end of the movie. I feel Nolan worked his ass off those first 2 hours to earn it. Again, yes! Precisely, Redoubt. Precisely. The launch sequence, the docking sequence, and the black hole sequence could each steal the show in their own isolated movie. Totally. I mean, that movie is on a kind of ramp that just goes into the stratosphere by the end. I mean, it's just no pun intended. I mean, it really does everything in that movie is about setting up what's going to happen in sort of the final third act, which is amazing because you're going on a 4-dimensional journey in that. You're not going on a 3-dimensional journey. You're going on a 4-dimensional journey in that film. And in the beginning, you're already on that journey. You just don't know it yet. And I love that. I love that about it. Oh, jeez. Yeah, we're down. I'm sorry. There's only 3 of us on this. Yeah, it's a little lonely over here. Sorry for striking your channel, but it was Interstellar. Oh, no, you wouldn't do that. My own Master at Arms? No, wait, that's Fu Man Blue. My own... What stuff it is rank, Mr.? Oh, yes, the Master Gunner, of course, yes. You would certainly know all about the unclean, says Fu Man Blue to Staff here. Yes, referencing Father Nurgle of his plastic pile of shame Warhammer army. I don't doubt it. Fu Man Blue says, I need to pay more attention to the chat, but it's going too fast. There's too much. Wrangler says, what is the 4th dimension everyone keeps speaking of? I don't know. It's like, it has something to do with love. I know that from the Nolan movie. Now, what's else? We're moving on in the stack of stuff. We did so there is a trailer out for Tron Ares. And I am a fan of the Tron films, and I thought we would take a look and just see what we think about the Tron Ares trailer. So we're going to load that up. By the way, I'm not streaming on Rumble today because, I mean, let's face it, there's not much going on over there. But I can only stream on 3 locations right now, and Kick is now integrated with Restream. So I'm streaming on Kick right now. On the Swords and Starships channel on Kick. I think I am. I don't know. I think I am. I am. Nice. Nice. It works. And it even ports over the chat from YouTube. That's pretty neat. Neato. So yeah, we're on Kick right now. So why the hell not, right? It is a streaming platform. Oh, look, I have 1 viewer on Kick, right? Oh, wait, that's me. Oh, no, that's me. I'm the only viewer. Mr. Producer, we're growing fast. Don't worry. Don't worry, boys. We'll get there. Okay, roll tape. Do I have desktop audio enabled? Thank you, Mr. Producer.
Unit 12, acknowledging dispatch. Already in pursuit.
Oh, I've got a problem already. I've got a big problem already. This reminds me of exactly what was happening in Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Before I get to the problem I have, I gotta say this for Tron. I love, it looks cool. It looks really cool. I love the Tron effects. They are super awesome. Now let's get to the problem. I am just gonna presume that these police officers think they're dealing with criminals, but they're not, and so they're innocent in this scenario, and we just watched him maybe possibly kill 2 police officers, and I hate when movies do this. I hate when movies ignore collateral. Maybe these are bad guys. These could be bad guys. That's fair. I'm assuming these are like protagonists, but they could be bad guys. So criticism withdrawn. They're bad guys. I leap to conclusions. That's my fault. But in Transformers Rise of the Beasts, like the good guy, Bumblebee, I think was it Bumblebee? Bumblebee Tuna. It was Bumblebee just taking out cops, just taking them out in a high-speed chase. And it was like, hang on a second, these are supposed to be the good guys.
Something I do not understand.
I'm kind of into this. I'm liking the trailer. Oh, you gotta love that retro music. I love it. I love the retro music.
Ready?
Was that Jeff Bridges? Yes!
Because there's no going back.
Why does Jared Leto have to be in this? Gross! I mean, you say it's slop. The world's full of hogs. No, not Jared Leto. I'm not talking about Jared Leto when I say the world's full of hogs, okay? When I'm talking about fat pigs, I am not talking about Jared Leto or Rachel Zegler, okay? But I am curious as to why Jared Leto is in this. Just a teaser. It's not really a trailer. There's no hook for a story. Well, there's a teaser hook, which is the Tron world is now in our world, and that's bad. That's very, very bad. And I'm kind of digging it. I'm pretty into that. It's pretty cool. The effects were cool. Jared Leto I could do without. Why is Jared Leto in this? Tim Allen says he's talking about Rachel Z when he brings up the hawk. I am not. Who said that? I didn't say that. I did not say that Rachel Zegler's a hog. I never said that. Don't put words in my mouth, Tim Allen. Give me all the synth, says Wrangler. I agree. No, the retro music is working for me, definitely. Starfreeze says there are 10 and hate is the only emotional dimension. Ask the Imperium. Will we actually see Tron in this Tron movie? I know. That's a fair question, Wrangler. I don't know. You said you could present to us one of the coolest trailers ever, and we just want to argue with you about Interstellar. Looks like you have an evergreen topic. It's evergreen for me because I love Interstellar, but I suppose I owe our very own Star Fury my thoughts on Solo Leveling. I am watching it. I'm watching it, folks. Weeb hat engaged. Okay. So I'm going to give you my brief thoughts on Solo Leveling. I feel like I need to take in more of this series before I can give you more of my full thoughts. But here's kind of what happened, okay? Star Fury was on me to watch Solo Leveling. Just browbeating me. Weekly, daily, browbeating me into watching it. I'm going to watch it. I want to watch it. Everybody I know is browbeating me to watch this show. Everybody. And the worst part is everybody I know is watching the show and is talking about it, and spoilers are, and I have to, no spoilers. I'm going to watch it. And there's nothing I hate more than someone who demands no spoilers who isn't watching the show. It's like, then watch the show, asshole, or I can't be responsible for spoilers. And I was being that guy. So fair enough. I had to watch it, okay? So I started watching it. And there's bad news and good news. Do you want the bad news first, Star Fury? Solo Leveling, to answer your question, Tim Allen, is a Korean anime. And here is the basic setup of the story. Okay, the setup of the story is this. In South Korea, where it takes place, I believe, mysterious modern day times in our world, presumably. Star Fury says yes, he wants the bad news first. Okay, it's on tap. But first, let me explain the setup. So in modern times, these portals, magical portals, start randomly opening up into the world, okay? And these portals lead to a dimension of very much Dungeons and Dragons style fantasy dungeons filled with typical classical fantasy monsters like goblins, giant spiders, trolls, you name it, rock golems, the works. And these fantasy creatures have magical powers, and those magical powers, the best I can understand, are seeping into our world and imbuing some humans with magical powers. Okay, now, the problem is, if these gates are left unattended, the critters, will come out of these gates and they'll start snacking on humans in the real world, and that's bad. Okay, so in order to keep the critters from coming out of the dungeons through the gates, we send in hunters, which are humans who now have some magical abilities that have bled over from the fantasy world. We send them in like Dungeons and Dragons players, mages, warriors, archers, the typical fantasy war party, right? Goes into the dungeon and they kill all the critters and they kill the boss, and that closes the gate and ends the dungeon. Now, naturally, when you kill the critters, they drop goodies, and the goodies are loot. And the loot is, what is it called, Starfury? It's like they drop like some kind of shard, and it's very valuable. No, not shard. I didn't say shard. I said shard. No, shard. And I did not say Rachel Zegler. What are you talking? No, we're talking about not shards or Rachel Zegler. Shard. Now, it's already worn out, isn't it? Yeah. I'm enjoying it, though. Okay, so these shards have magical powers which help. I guess they can be used to make magical weapons, and they're valuable. So there's a huge financial incentive to raid these dungeons because it's very dangerous. Like, it's very dangerous because these monsters will kill you. They will kill you and eat your eyes for jujubes. As was stated in Avatar. So the lure of going into these dungeons is to get the loot, sell it, make big money. Okay, the moolah. Now, here comes the bad news. Okay, the bad news is the first couple episodes, now the artwork is brilliant and really, really good. I love the artwork and the style and everything, and it's classic anime. It is maximum anime. However, one of the things about anime that wears on me is the exposition dialogue. And I've also said this is the problem with comic books. Comic books do the same thing, where the characters narrate obvious things that I don't need them to narrate. They do it all the time. Oh, this must mean his power level is increased. He's such a powerful warrior. Yeah, I know, because I just saw him beat your ass. That's how I know he's a power. Like literally a rock god will swing an axe and they'll say, oh no, if that axe hits me, I'm dead. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. I know that. Now here's the thing. All anime does this. Okay? It's just part of it, right? Comic books do this. Spider-Man will be battling a guy and it'll be like, wow, he's clearly capable of throwing me through the, like, as it's a panel in which Spider-Man is in midair flying through a wall because the bad guy just threw him. And as he's flying, there's like a 30-word thought bubble where he's thinking, he's stronger than any of the villains I've fought before. He threw me through this wall with almost no effort whatsoever. If I don't figure out a way to beat him, I'm dead. It just grates on me, okay? I don't like it. I don't like that. Just let it show. But on the other hand, it is what it is. So I just go with it. Now, the show proceeds apace. That the second little piece of bad news I have is it's very meta. It's so in this world. Now the concept, the setup, I like a lot, which is fantasy gates are opening. They open a portal into these dungeons populated by classical fantasy creatures, and we have to go into these dungeons and kill them before they kill us, which is all great because that's an excuse to have Dungeons & Dragons style campaigns in the real world, which I think is a lot of fun. The problem is the characters in the world speak of it this way. They all speak in terms of actual video games, right? They speak in a very meta way about it, which is, I'm a level this, and this is a healer, and that's a loot box. And I'm like, but that sort of defeats the purpose, doesn't it, of bringing a video game concept into the real world of this fictional world in order to like play with that concept. And I wasn't wild about that. Still, we have this weak protagonist, and I'm trying to pronounce his name, but like I'm not 100%. What is the because they're all Korean names, and no offense, but I sort of have a hard time. Okay, I'm not going to finish that sentence. I'm not going to finish that sentence. There's no way to say it. I don't mean it in an insulting or disrespectful way, but, you know, it's the world we live in, Mr. Producer. I'm on the internet, live to millions, theoretically. What was the... Yes, solo leveling, that's what I'm looking for. The main character's name, and I'm not even sure of, like, the order I'm supposed to say it, but Jinwoo Song. Jinwoo. I think it's Jinwoo Song is how it's pronounced. Jinwoo. Jinu? No, I think they say Jinu. They say Jinu's Song. Okay. Jinu is the main character, but he's got a buddy named Jin Chul. And I'm like, what? I can't tell the difference between those two names. Jinu and Jin Chul? And I'm like, I can't do that. So... The main character, Jinu, is, as described in the show, the weakest hunter, that hunters being the people that go into these dungeons, he's described as the weakest hunter of all mankind. Because every hunter... I had to Google a little bit here, because I was like, okay, why don't they just take machine guns and, like, why don't they take assault rifles into these realms and just shoot all of the critters? Like, why don't they do that? Why do they have swords and fantasy armor from the modern world? Like, because they all look like a Dungeons and Dragons rating. They're using bows and arrows. Why don't they just use guns? Right? That's what I thought. And I guess the best answer I got is because the show doesn't explain this very well that I could see. But basically, the only way you can defeat the critters is with magical items, and the items have to actually be of the magic of this world. So you have to use swords crafted from the magic of these dungeons or whatever, or you can't kill the critters. That satisfies. I'm satisfied with that. I'm fine with that. Okay, cool. So so humans have a rank based on their magical ability, and some people are like mages and some are fighters and whatever, and it does give them superhuman powers. But you have a rank, and your rank is basically set. So if you are a C rank fighter, that's it. You're a C rank fighter. You'll never be better than that. You'll never be worse than that. And if you're up against monsters that are much more powerful than you, you're going to have other people with you that are better ranked. And if you're like the best, what's the higher rank? S rank, isn't that like the highest rank, Star Fury? And if you're S rank, you are like, you're undefeatable. You're just super powerful. So Jinu is E rank, I believe, which is like the lowest. And of the E ranks, he's like the lowest. So he's literally this poor guy, but he's very likable because he's doing this to pay for medical treatment for his mother. And he's pretty poor, and his sister doesn't have a lot of money, and they're trying to take care of their sick mother. And so he's on this desperate quest to earn money, but he sucks. He's terrible, and he gets his ass kicked all the time. And the show is brutal. Like, it's bloody and gory, and these monsters, they will cut off your arms. They will take off your head. They are ruthless, and that's the good news, Star Fury. I like that a lot. This show does not pull punches at all. So I was with it. I was like, okay, I'm cool with it. I can forgive the typical anime style. I can even... Here's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, I want to know... This is my theory about the story. My theory, and don't confirm whether I'm right or wrong about this, but my theory is that the characters are living in a simulation. That's kind of my theory, is that they're all living in a simulation or something like that. There's something else at work here. So that curiosity about what that is kept me watching it. But I had yet to sort of reach a point in the show where I was really hooked and really pulled in. and had something really good to sink my teeth into until something happens about episode 6. I'm not going to tell you what it is because it is a spoiler if you haven't watched it yet. But like the character has a realization. So I will give you this one thing because this is part of the setup to the story. Genu, the weakest hunter of all mankind, he gets essentially, he goes through an experience in a dungeon, and I do like this a lot. He goes through an experience in a dungeon which gives him the ability to level up, which is an ability that no other human has. He has the ability to increase his level, and he gets daily quests to increase his level, and he starts to become a super ripped, muscular badass. And it's pretty awesome, I have to say. And he starts to transform into this crazy, awesome fighter. And he even starts to get taller. People are like, "You're taller. How's that possible?" That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. And I'm with all that. And then something happens in a particular dungeon after he gets betrayed. And I think I'm going to hold off on spoilers for one more week. But he says a phrase that was like, whoa, I like that. That was a little bit like a penny drop moment. You know, that was a little bit like Neo asking what is the Matrix. Like there was this kind of moment in the show where the character says, the system wants me to fill in the blank. The system wants me to do this, and so I will do what the system wants. And I was like, it comes so out of left field based on everything you've seen that like, whoa, and I can't tell you more than that because it would be a spoiler, but it was like, okay, now I'm into this. I'm super into this. So that's the good news, Star Fury. It got, as I put it, it got fucking legit. It got legit at that point. Well, now we're talking. Now we got ourselves a story here. So yeah, it's a lot of setup, and there's a payoff coming. And I think part of the issue is I've just been so burned by so much of Western media. Like Daredevil is a perfect example. Daredevil, Born Again, I'm referring to. Daredevil Born Again could be, in a certain context, a slow burn to a hell of a payoff that's just going to make it all worth it. But it's not. It's fool's gold. And so much of the garbage, the slop that we are fed, it is fool's gold. The Acolyte is the perfect example of this. The Acolyte was the master of this. Just absolute slop for the hogs. No, not Leslie Headland. I didn't say that Leslie Headland was a hog. Wait a minute. No, she's definitely a hog. No, she's definitely a hog. She is a full-blown. Have you seen her? Jesus. That's mean. I'm just reading from the bestiary. Anyway, the Acolyte would set up these kind of like, they're not even really mysteries, but it would set up these like plot threads that you're meant to be like, ooh, what's the big story behind that? And it's like, first of all, that's not a thing. I don't really care. But even if I did, it's not going anywhere. That whole show's a dead end. It's not going anywhere. Same deal with Secret Invasion with Nick Fury. And it's like, oh, what's the evil Skrull plot? And it's not going anywhere. And so the problem is I start to watch something like Solo Leveling that is going somewhere with this, but I don't trust that it is because I'm so used to it not going anywhere. So there you have it. Star Fury says speaking of Tron, there better be Tron kicking ass and taking names. I agree with you. Star Fury says, trope alert. I'm so used to it, I don't even see it. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, Star Fury. It is a trope. All anime does it to one degree or another, and there are animes I love, and it's always in spite of that fact. And I was even mentioning in the Discord that I went on a binge and I read all of the Rippaverse comics that I have. The Horseman, Yaira Volume 1, what was the other one? Good Ying, which I wasn't particularly interested in. I just picked it up anyway. It turned out to be really good. It was really good. And then I read Alpha Core. And Alpha Core, to me, was kind of one of the least interesting ideas in the Rippaverse. I was like, I don't really care about superhero cops. It turns out it was written by Chuck Dixon. It was brilliant. The Alpha Core, because you know why? In the Alpha Core book, this is from the Rippaverse comics, the Alpha Core are just 3 superpowered cops, and they're part of a special cop unit, and their role is only to deal with crimes involving superhumans, which are called Excepts in the Rippaverse, right? But the reason why this was so brilliant is because, I expected it to just be kind of like Avengers light, and really what it was is it was a police procedural. And it even had like the classic conflict between the leader of the Alpha Corps, Solari, arguing with his police captain about, hey, your jurisdiction is superhero matters. You're not supposed to get involved in, street level crime. And he's like, I saw something happen and I had to take action, sir. And so there's the typical battle between authority and jurisdiction. It's a police procedural with superheroes, and it's pretty great. It's pretty brilliant, really. So I really enjoyed it. And Fu Man was saying he thought, well, the dialogue of the Soska sisters in Yaira wasn't very good, and it had some rough edges, I would agree. But honestly, all comic books do this. They do this thing where the characters they're overly melodramatic, and they state things we already know all the time, or they just narrate things in a way that's not really how people talk. That's how anime is. That's how comics are. It just is what it is. I just accept it. Wrangler says, writing a novelized version of a video game can be a challenge. How do you stay faithful to a game mechanic while having it make narrative sense? That's the kind of thing you've got to solve. I agree, and I think that... So you have to understand that they're different media, right? A film is a different medium than a video game. A video game makes you, the player, the agent of change, and a film, it's a passive experience. And a film is different than a play. A play is different than a novel. So you have to use the best assets of the medium. And so one of the things I think was really brilliant about Wicked, which is an adaptation of a musical, which was itself an adaptation of a novel, right? The novel was the novel, but the musical adapted it into a musical Broadway play, right? But the film adapted the musical. Now, if it had just adapted it beat for beat from the play, that wouldn't have been very interesting. But instead, what made Wicked really work is that it integrated the beautiful things you can do in cinema with editing and with shots and with lifelike world building. You can do all of that in a way that you can't do in a play. And that's what made Wicked so well done, is that it utilized all those assets that it had as a movie that it would not have as a play. And what I am saying is, if you are going to adapt a video game, you have to ask yourself, what in the video game works well in cinema and what doesn't? And the stuff that doesn't, you can reference it, you can play with it, but you can't just adapt it one-to-one. Like, for example, the Mass Effect video game series, right? There are a couple of novels that were written by Drew Karpyshyn that go with the video games. And if you're a big fan of Mass Effect, read the novels because they're really good. And they are absolutely lore accurate. They're canon, and they are directly connected to the video games seamlessly. It's pretty brilliant. Like, for example, in the first Mass Effect game, Anderson tells you about how he worked with Saren when he was in contention to be a Spectre, and how Saren screwed up the whole mission and got a bunch of civilians killed. Well, the first Mass Effect novel tells that story, and it tells it really, really well. And when you actually are playing the game, you will get references to the things that happen in the novel. For example, in Mass Effect 2, when you first meet Tali on that mission on Horizon, you're on that, no, it's not Horizon. It's Freedom's Progress, the very first mission in Mass Effect 2. And you run into Tali and a bunch of Quarians, and they're like, Cerberus is evil. We're not going to work with you. And there's this dialogue option where you can say, why do you hate Cerberus? And Miranda kind of half explains it, and the Quarians, Well, that's the subject of the second book, which is why the Quarians hate Cerberus, right? So anyway, I bring this up to say that the novels are very different than the video games because they have to follow protagonists. The combat has to work a little bit differently in the novels than it does. It has to be more lifelike and real as opposed to in the video game where there's a damage meter and a health bar. It's like that's not how it really works in a novel, right? And that's why you just have to look at the media that way. Back to solo leveling. Star Fury says S rank is the highest, though S covers a lot of area. Very good. Tim Allen says, sadly, I must disembark until we meet again. Du lu Volt. I don't know if I read that correct. Hat tip, Tim Allen. The restream will be there if you want to relive all of the captain's brilliant profundities. The restream will be there. Thank you, Tim Allen, for joining us. And there he goes. Star Fury says, what goes on in a dungeon stays in a dungeon. Fuck yeah. You're goddamn right it does. Holy shit. You know exactly what episode I'm talking about, Star Fury. You know exactly the one. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. It went down in that episode. Yeah, I'm into it. As of that moment, as of the moment when Genu says, I will do what the system requires of me, or that's a paraphrase, that's roughly what he says, I will do what the system requires of me, I was like, what? I'm listening. Like, I'm just fascinated now. Well, because clearly what that illustrates to me is the show, there's a deeper layer here to what they're building with the show. And I'm not used to that. I'm not used to layered storytelling. God, it's great. It's really great. I love it. Stormcrow is in the chat. Gentle Stormcrow says, it's good to see my favorite Midwestern critic suffer for my amusement. Good to see you again, Captain. I mean, I'm more of a Western by birth, but Midwestern currently. I don't know. Am I Midwestern? I've moved so many times. Where am I, Mr. Producer? There? Star Fury says, oh, there is a deeper layer. Oh, I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited now. Oh, that's good. Dude, when he opens his eyes and they're glowing blue and it gets all freaking hardcore out of nowhere, I'm like, fuck, this is hardcore, man. They're going with this. Like, see, that's the thing. Anime is not afraid to just go as far as the premise can take you. That's what's so great about it. Like, I will say this. For all of its silliness at times, the thing that anime does so well is it just don't give a fuck, man. It's going to go there. It's going to go to the farthest reaches of a premise that it can. And it's not afraid to do it. And it's one of the great qualities of that artistic form that makes it so enduring. Manga and anime have this in common, obviously, that they are enduring because they reward audiences with crazy speculative fiction that just does not have any limits on what's possible or what you could do. I mean, the fact that they have this whole manga and this whole anime called Delicious in Dungeon, that's all it is about is these characters killing, dungeon monsters, cooking and eating them in delightful ways. What? But that's so creative. That's so damn creative. I can't get over how creative that is. And then you've got dumb millennials and probably some Gen Zers and a couple boomers thrown in there. Just dumb, stupid people writing this shit for Smurfs where it's like, I'm gonna smash you Smurfs until you're totally smashed. That doesn't sound good. I feel dumber. I feel dumber every time I watch one of these things. I can't take it. I can't take how stupefying Western media is. It's written for retards. And listen, I don't like to speak ill. I don't like to speak ill of a regular guy who's just in the theater with his wife and his kids who are sitting next to me, unfortunately. I tried to pick an isolated chair again and again. Dude, I was smashed between two families, and I was like, damn it. Where do I have to sit? I guess I have to sit in the very front row that nobody wants to sit in those, you know? Or I can't take one of the handicapped chairs. That would be wrong, even though there's a lot open. If I take one and then they fill up and some handicapped person then needs that chair, I'd be like the worst form of human on the planet. Almost as bad as a shell. I can't do that. So what am I to do? I have to sit smashed between two families, which is probably, it's for the best. Because then I can listen to their reactions, you know? And this guy was sitting just to the left of me, a dad with his family, and I was listening to the dad and the mom commenting on the movie, and the dad was like, "Ooh, that's that thing. That's that thing happening." And he just kept, it was like, you know what it was like? I hate to say this. It was like, it's red. the lightsaber is red. Red. That's what it sounded like to me, and I was almost laughing a couple times because he's like, "Oh, the villager did that thing. That's the thing the villager." But the thing is, he was talking to his son, who clearly loves this, and the son was like, "Oh, that's the thing, you know, that's the thing they do," and he was having a great time, which is great, and I'm happy for him. And I just couldn't help but think, but the adults though, were just like, they're just lapping it up, and I thought, you know why? Because who cares, right? Because it's something to do. His kid likes Minecraft. He's taken his boy to see Minecraft and he's right there. You know, I shouldn't say this. It would have been nice occasionally as a kid to have my parents that enthusiastic about the things I liked, but half of the things I liked my parents didn't understand. They're like, what is that? Why do you like that? And I'm like, because it's a fantasy world. It's called Final Fantasy, Mom. It's called Final Fantasy. And in Final Fantasy, there are these things called espers. And they're being hunted for their magical powers. Okay, yeah, uh-huh. It's like, well, good for you. King's Quest, Mom. It's called King's Quest. You're a king on a quest. Oh, that's very interesting, Garrett. That's very, very interesting. Keep doing that or don't, you know, actually, she told me it was probably the work of the devil and I should stop. But anyway, I grew up in the late 80s when the satanic panic was happening. You know, that was back during the conservative cancel mob, and Dungeons and Dragons was like satanic and evil, you know, all that. So I grew up in that era. So the things I liked were always kind of on the line, you know? It was like, oh, there's a lot of magic. I hear a lot of witchcraft in that thing you're playing called Final Fantasy. So as I'm sitting here in Minecraft listening to this dad just rooting for absolutely everything in this movie that's making his boy happy, I was like, yeah, I guess you're succeeding at life. I was like, I can't really hate you for that. I can't hate you for that. Still, you know, it was very lightsaber is red. It's red. It's red. Anakin is in it. It's Anakin, played by Hayden Christensen. Redoubt Production says, my father took me to see The Last Airbender, one of my biggest regrets in life. I'm so sorry for you, Redoubt. Oh, that movie is bad. That movie is really bad. To this day, my parents question why I'm a fan. Oh, no. Do you know why? I had a similar experience. So do you remember? I was obsessed with Final Fantasy. Like in the late 90s, I was absolutely fully obsessed with the Final Fantasy saga, everything about it. I loved everything Final Fantasy. I would show it to people who were not interested in Final Fantasy, and they were like, oh, that's very interesting. And I'd be like, isn't it? Isn't it so interesting? And So then they came out with a movie, okay? They came out with the Final Fantasy movie, the very first one. And I was very excited. I was very excited for this. And my buddy and I, we went with his parents to see it. And the whole car ride over to the theater, me and my buddy are telling his parents all about Final Fantasy. We're like, okay, the things you have to know about Final Fantasy is this. You need to know this, 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 and that. These things about Final Fantasy are very important. Very, 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 very important. So when you're watching the film, be on the lookout for chocobos. Chocobos are the birds. You gotta watch out for the chocobos. Other things you gotta watch out for is magical spells cast from like what are they called? Materia. Like if you hear the word materia, that's very, very important. It's very, very important. If you hear the word what do they call them in Final Fantasy VIII? It's been too long since I played it. What do they call them in Final Fantasy VIII? That you junction. They're the Eidolons. You summon Eidolons, right? It's like, oh, if you hear anyone say they're summoning an Eidolon, this is what it is. And I'm pretty sure in retrospect, they didn't hear a word we said. But then we saw the movie, and it kind of sucked. I didn't like it that much. It was very it was just, you know what it was? It was just basically like a futuristic science fiction drama. I was like, that's not Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy's not just a futuristic sci-fi drama. It's gotta be like Final Fantasy VII is fantasy, but with a sci-fi spin to it, which was cool. So I had a similar experience with Out. They didn't understand. And the movie was not a good. It didn't fulfill any of the things we promised or predicted. It was so disappointing. It was so disappointing. I don't know. Final Fantasy. I don't know, Garrett. Final Fantasy sounds like it has a lot of witchcraft in it, and you need to be very careful about that sort of thing. Okay, I'll stop doing seances. Fine. Jeez. What else is in the stack of stuff? I mean, I did go through that brief possession crisis, but that's not important. The Exorcist fixed all that. Mostly. Now, my audience is going to be afraid of me now. Snow White. Snow White is not doing well, folks. It is a box office catastrophe of the greatest proportions. Choke on it, Disney. Choke on it. You deserve everything that's happening to you. The Snow White is disgusting. It's a piece of trash. It's one of the worst. It's one of the worst films I've ever seen. It is such garbage. It's pure water torture. Every minute of that film, I wanted to flee the theater. It was so bad. It was. I'm going to do an impression of my expression while watching Snow White. It was like. Here's an impression of the cat. I have a friend of mine who says I should record myself in the theater. The problem is I don't know how to do. I don't feel like you could see it. You wouldn't be able to see my face because it's in the dark theater. You wouldn't, but we'll see. Maybe I'll take up his suggestion on that. But anyway, I'm sitting in the theater watching Minecraft. This is what my expression was roughly like with Minecraft. I don't know. It's something like that. So it's basically a psychopath relating the story of Snow White. Do I want to roll this tape first, Mr. Producer? Yeah, just for fun. I thought this was fun. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
This is no ordinary.
Yeah, I came across this. Okay, here we go. I hate how it plays automatically. I don't need that, YouTube. I don't know how to turn it off. Roll tape.
This is no ordinary apple, my dear. It's a magic wishing apple.
A wishing apple?
Yes, one bite and all your dreams will come true.
You offer it to me freely. In place of the patriarchy, you would have a queen! Not white, but diverse, inclusive, and equitable! I become the leader I know I can be! All shall love me and despair!
Oh my God, that's brilliant! That is so... Oh my god, it's exactly that movie. It is exactly.
Get away from her, you hideous hag! Oh, what has she done to you? Fear not, first love's kiss can break any curse.
And they lived happily ever after. It's so, dude. This is the modern woke. This is wokeness. This is the best explanation of why wokeness is so evil. Like, it is the most power bad, power hungry, just atrocious mindset. Everything. SJW, identity politics, the whole thing. It is the most foaming at the mouth, psychopathic, power mad fantasy. And this is the perfect example.
You would have a queen! Not white, but diverse, inclusive, and equitable! I will become the leader I know I can be! All shall love me and despair!
Dude, that's the left. That's it. That's so brilliant. What was that? What was the channel? That was Beanie Brothers. I just came across it. Hat Tip Beanie Brothers. Never seen that channel before, but that was pretty clever. All shall love me. You know what's so funny is Rachel Zegler would be on the red carpet, right? And she had that one where she said she's not going to be saved by the prince, and she was like, she's not dreaming of true love. She's dreaming of being the leader she knows she can be, which her father told her if she was fair, brave, just, and true. And the way she rattles that off so quickly always struck me as so odd. Was she fearless? What would she say? Fearless, fair, brave, and true. That's the phrase. Fearless, fair, brave, and true. And the way she says it, and she's not gonna. And she could be the leader she could be, like her father told her she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And blah blah blah. And I was like, that's so weird. Why does she say it so fast? Why did she rattle fearless, fair, brave, and true? And I thought that was so weird. Well, now I know why. Because in the movie, they spam those words. Fearless, fair, brave, fearless, fair, brave, true, fearless, fair, and true, and fair, and brave. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, movie. It's so, God. It's like Patrick Bateman. We need to take care of the poor and increase our social concern. It's important that we not be consumed by materialism and capitalism. So It's a Gundam had a video concerning this topic, and I added it to the stack of stuff based on the title alone. The title, this may be one of the finest YouTube titles I've ever heard. Like, this is one of the best YouTube titles of all time. Are you ready for this, Mr. Producer? Give me my video. Okay, the last gasp of a gassed up mid. Gassed up mid. That's so good. That's so good. That's so good. And that's a gassed up mid would be way better than the Hog Queen. If you called her the Hog Queen, which I did not. I did not say the Hog Queen was Rachel Zegler. I didn't say that. And I like this better, how It's a Gundam says she's a gassed up mid.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her.
Kid says no.
It's a Gundam. He's just a piece of crap. This is a sort of monumental failure that will be studied for years to come. And at the heart of the issue is a gassed up mid. Much like the woman who left her husband after her nose job, Rachel Zegler overestimated her value on the market.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people...
This is such a great example of what I mean when I say that the culture war is self-defense. Because they always gaslight it. It's like we're waging a culture war. And it's like, but see, in order to be waging a culture war, we have to be demanding a change to something as it already existed. They're the ones that are always attacking what is. They are the ones that are always attacking things as they originally were. Very evidently so. And as they are commenting on it, notice how they always state their fascistic demands in the form of a question. Like, how did she say it? She was like, and she's... Yeah. Listen to the uptone.
On her love story. With
her love story? She's not going to be... Yeah, she's not going to be doing a love story? You're not going to be doing a love story? As they softly and politely, it's like that one British shill, the British shill in the Grizzy shill rotation, the one that's like, he's the one I hate the most. He's like, right, well, you see, it's really, I'm a very good person, and I'm a very polite person, and it's just that anyone who doesn't like the Rise of Skywalker is a Nazi and a racist pig, and they should all burn in hell. And that's not my fault. I'm just a polite guy on the internet. It's like, oh, fuck off. Just say what you mean, Shill. Just say it. Just say that you hate it. All right.
Weird. We have a different approach to what...
So she's saying that this centuries-old fable, this beloved fairy tale that has entertained generations of children, she's saying it's disgusting, it's evil, and it's bad. Weird. It's like how they phrase everything in this Orwellian phony doublespeak. Makes me sick.
A lot of people will assume is a love story just because we cast a guy in the movie. Right. Andrew Burnap, great dude. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut.
Ugh. Oh, God. Okay, I did throw a lot of my fellow millennials under the bus, but here's where Gen Z gets to take a few arrows. Great dude. Oh, I just want to throw up in my mouth. Great dude.
Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Certainly. Isn't she lovely? She's gorgeous.
Ironically, after turning people off to the film, she headed to Twitter to celebrate the trailer dropping, which wasn't a flex.
Because the dislike ratio was actually crazy. What is that, 1.6 million dislikes?
It's like when you see a puppy who has cancer. It's just as satisfying, I'm saying, you too.
She then throws sticks of dynamite on the dumpster fire she created.
I love you all so much. Thank you for the love and for the 120 million views on our trailer in just 24 hours. What a whirlwind. I'm in the thick of rehearsals for Romeo.
God, look at how many pronouns she has in her bio. Look at just she, her, hers, them, zers. Just get them all in there.
And Juliet. So I'm gonna get out of here. Bye for now.
Imagine dusting yourself off for this chick.
And always remember, free Emperor Palpatine.
Why? You little piece of dribble piss.
Nothing says ticket sales like geopolitical hot takes while promoting your film to people that were already iffy on you.
3 months later, she was pushing hard for the Democratic Party to win the election. Once again, politics and movie ticket sales do not mix. Well, anyway, we already know her candidate lost, so she crashed out. She wished Trump supporters to never know peace. That was a pretty big voting block she was taking a hot steaming piss on. But the Zegler didn't care. She was girl bossing too close to the sun, a common downfall of the gassed up mid. The Disney film opened to a box office of $87 million worldwide.
Which is a massive failure when you're close to $300 million in the hole with a no boob, no ass habit. God's gift to film.
When reached for comment, A rival studio executive had this to say.
You can't say that the live-action remake of the most iconic film in the vault that cost $270 million and has been reshot multiple times, opening to $50 million is okay. The math just doesn't work. The movie should have been $1 billion movie.
Oh, well, that's just how it is, I guess.
A working man beat Snow White with $15 million opening. Disney's live-action Snow White fell more than 66%.
Boy, how sad is that? Snow White lost to a Jason Statham movie where he plays the same
Jason
character
Statham
again and again and again. Snow White's IMDb
I'm pretty sure that was a reference to Drunk 3PO right there. Jason's statement.
score was actually lower than the live-action Dragon Ball Z film.
Oh, hold on. My bad. Let me update this.
Rachel Zegler's Snow White has officially become the worst movie of all time on IMDb.
Damn.
Let's speed this up. Snow White was an unmitigated disaster, and there was blood in the water, and let's face it, the internet is full of sharks. TikTok was making animations about Zegler that were pretty funny.
Rachel Zegler, thanks for coming on my show. I sold out years ago and I'm a coward. So you recently starred in the movie Snow White. Tell me, what was it like to play Snow Latina?
First of all, Steven, it was weird. But I did enjoy reimagining the character as a woke Colombian woman who looks like a fish.
Well, I sold out years ago and I'm a coward. Are you surprised that everyone hates the movie?
Not at all. Society is far too racist and misogynist to appreciate the reimagining of a classic Disney princess as an ugly Colombian chick.
I sold out years ago and I'm a coward.
Gossip channels are letting everyone know that Disney
Dude,
canceled
where
the
is
press
South
tour
Park?
for the film because
I miss South Park. They don't make any more South Parks. I can't ever find them.
the studio's heads finally woke up to the reality that keeping her on tour was the equivalent of just setting money actually on fire.
Rachel Zegler has officially been benched by Disney, and no, this isn't a rumor. The Snow White star has become such a PR nightmare, the studio has cut her out of her own press tour. She was set to appear on SNL, Kimmel, Drew Barrymore, all of it scrapped. Why? Because Disney finally realized putting a mic in front of her is a financial risk.
Oh no, what happened? I've never in my life seen anything like this. Snow White opening Saturday at IMAX, premiere time for families in one of the busiest movie theaters in the entire DC metro area. I go to this theater all the time. I've literally never seen anything like this.
That's star power, my friend. She's an icon.
People started showing how empty theaters were for the Zegler all over the country. Rachel Zegler then decided to do an Instagram story where she's clearly in an empty theater to see her own movie. I guess this is what it's like to own the chuds. I can't really fathom such levels of winning. Old tweets from the Zegler started popping back up.
I was always about free Palpatine. Donald Trump. Yep, I'm a nasty bitch.
I have to applaud Rachel Zegler on her consistency, because she's been consistently annoying for years and I'm just now waking up to it. Old videos of Rachel Zegler being obnoxious started being posted all over Twitter.
Was gifted very good cheekbones from God, which is something I thank him for constantly. When I was a kid, I used to manifest having cheekbones and dimples, and I got them both. Keep manifesting, ladies.
Oh my God. People should not go on the internet ever. I don't think it's a good thing for humans to broadcast their real-time thoughts live on the internet all the time. I think that's a bad idea. This is so... Oh my God, it's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing for her. I'm like, why do you do this to yourself? I blame the parents. What a spoiled brat. She is like the most spoiled brat person. You know, the worst thing about it too is that she's sitting in her own headcanon. She is like the nicest, most loving person she knows. The problem is she only loves herself. That's the problem. She doesn't love anyone else, doesn't care about anyone else. Just herself. I was reading a Twitter thread which was pointing out the tragedy of people who are moving away from blue cities and blue states that have been run into the ground. Nobody can afford housing. There's human feces all over the streets, crime run rampant, and they move to a red state where these problems don't exist, and they immediately vote for the same problems. But, and there were plenty of people just like, oh yeah, the locusts, terrible. But there was a couple of replies from actually people defending this, and they were like, yeah, well, we moved to a red state because and red states are like that because they're just run with poverty. There's just a lot of cheap land and poverty, and so yeah, we're moving there to correct the tax imbalance because we've been sending you our taxes. And I'm like, oh my God, these psychopathic people. It doesn't matter how many catastrophes, how many businesses, families, countries, cities, films. It doesn't matter how many they raise to the absolute ground, how many people get fired, laid off, their lives destroyed, their businesses ended, their careers destroyed. It does not matter how much they destroy. In their head, they're either the victim or the hero or both. It's unbelievable. You could never talk them out of being just crazy, narcissistic, God complex lunatics. She is a big reason. She's really not the main reason, but she is the public face. She certainly did not help. She poured gas on a fire that completely torpedoed this movie, a movie on which hundreds, maybe thousands of people's livelihoods and reputations depend. She went out there and poured gas on a media tire fire and turned it into a catastrophe of biblical proportions. She's literally, if not totally responsible, she is in part directly responsible for the complete failure of this movie. It's financial ruin. And what is her response to this? She goes and films herself sitting in the theater as a gotcha. It's like, it doesn't matter. It does not matter how much absolute destruction these human wrecking balls wreak on real people in the world. They still think they're the hero of the story. It's unbelievable to me.
I was gifted good cheekbones from God. Well, I guess he had to give you something because you clearly don't have a likable personality or an ass or boobs, which for a Latin woman, lacking both is kind of like being born crippled.
Stop out! On the 26th of March,
pretty amazing.
One of the producer's kids unloaded on Zegler on Instagram.
Your dad flew to New York City to reprimand a young actress? Any word on this? Cause that's creepy as hell and uncalled for. People have the right to free speech. No shame on your
you love free speech when it's the free speech you like. That's how the leftist brain works right there. You love free speech until anyone says anything you don't like. Then it's hate speech, and that's bad.
Father, you really want to do this? Yeah, my dad, the producer of an enormous piece of Disney IP with hundreds of $1 million on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics in
the picture in the background. By the way, the picture, that face that I got for my thumbnail, that hat tip, it's a Gundam. He found that his audience gave him that on Twitter, and I immediately got it and downloaded it for myself. It's a Gundam's audience. One of his audience members found this because he asked for it. He's like, hey, can you guys help me out? I need something for science.
Middle of promoting the movie, for which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid and do publicity for. This is called adult responsibilities and accountability, and her actions clearly hurt the film's box office. Free speech does not mean you're allowed to say whatever you want in your private employment without repercussions. Tens of thousands of people worked on that film, and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desire to risk all of the colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. Narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged.
It's sad we have a generation of women on Instagram so stunted the very idea of a...
I'm sorry, Fuman Blue. I've been neglecting the chat again. It's my bad. I'm sorry. Fuman Blue says, you need to get an Iron Man-like helmet to wear in theaters, lights and camera inside. That would be cool if I could do a HUD like that. Redoubt Production says that's way too subtle a depiction of Zegler. I need like three monitors, because the problem is sometimes when I'm sharing a video, I've got two things and they're covering up the chat, and I need the chat in another monitor. Anyway, that's first world problems. Starfiore says, here's a dime to go. Yes, here's a dime to go downtown and get a rat to gnaw that thing off your face. Uncle Buck, yes. Fu Man Blue says, your simmering hatred is seeping, Starfury. It's more than seeping.
Another woman being held accountable for her actions by one of her employers is weird and creepy. What a stupid time to be alive. Believe it or not, Zegler has supporters. Obviously, politically charged Zoomers love her viewpoints. They began rallying and blaming the film's failure on Gal Gadot, which obviously led to well-rounded and respectful discussions and not racially charged insanity.
Props to everyone who boycotted Gal Gadot's Snow White. Gal Gadot's Snow White is now listed as one of the worst films in IMDb history. It was definitely the evil queen's fault. She can't.
Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. It's the gaslighting in real time. I mean, look. I'm not going to defend. Gal Gadot is awful in this movie, but everything in this movie is awful. Everything. All of it. Trash. The problem, it's so funny that they focus the problem as if it's Gal Gadot is the problem, or Gadot. Gadot. I like them both. I'll just use them interchangeably. They act as if Gal Gadot is the problem. And then obviously Zegler is a big problem. Here's the biggest problem with Snow White. Are you ready for the biggest problem with Snow White? It is written, directed, produced, created, starred in by stupid people. Morons. And they should be held accountable for their failure, the catastrophe that they put on film. It's an insult to cinema, this movie. It's awful. It is disgusting. Some of the worst dialogue I've ever heard in a movie ever. And I just saw the Minecraft movie. So, yeah, Gal Gadot is not the problem with this movie. Gal Gadot is one symptom of just an absolute Father Nurgle plague bearer of a movie. My Warhammer fans will appreciate that reference. Father Nurgle loves you.
Act at all. You mean the worst actress of all time. It's funny. The left boycotted because of her. The right boycotted because of Rachel Zegler. It's tanking because of Zegler, not Gal Gadot, you effing retard. You can't bubble Palpatine's children. Stop him! And then turn around and make fairy tales for white kids. The hypocrisy is unacceptable.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this.
She's such a bad actress, oh my god.
And enough champagne to fill the Nile. Kalel, no. Max Lord, you're putting yourself and everyone else in grave danger.
Oh, man. Oh, no. It is pretty bad. It's bad, right? Oh, that's not good. That is not good. Oh, no. Kalel, no. Oh, no. You can almost hear like the strain from her reading. It's like she's reading carefully, like I don't want to miss a word,
To give me the stone. What happened to it?
What did you say?
So exciting. Very interested to find the man who bought those.
Why should I help you?
Because we're asking you nicely.
Just tell me what it costs to get her away from me. Name a price. I'll buy the whole damn boat if I have to.
I'm 100% on.
I kind of like her in that last one. I mean, she look, She was hired for something. Let's just face it, folks. She was hired for something. It just wasn't her line delivery, okay?
The Gal Gadot cannot act boat to save her damn life. Let's not get it twisted. But she wasn't the root cause of the film going down in flames. It was Zegler. Pedro Pascal came out to support Rachel Zegler because he shares similar political views as she does. This did little to help the situation because no one cares what Pedro Pascal thinks outside of the queer community and hyper-progressives. The Amazon driver listening to this right now is like, Pedro Pascal, dude.
I can't wait till Hollywood gets over trying to gaslight everyone into thinking Pedro Pascal is important or good
And Zendaya. We can add Zendaya to this.
looking. An entire industry has been LARPing for the past 2 years that Pedro Pascal is on Henry Cavill's level, and I'm sick of it.
Well, this blessing from the Pascal didn't stop Latin America and South America from making fun of this film.
This macho woman can't feel fear. All that was missing was her taking the knife away from the hunter and lowering it herself. And those faces, beyond her physical appearance, she doesn't even act pretty, sweet or tender.
All of Latin and South America is roasting Rachel Zegler to no end. Last but not least, the Thai voice actress for Snow White ironically fits the role so much better than Rachel Zegler does. It's actually sad.
Wow. I could roll with this. Huh? What do you think, chat? Could you roll with this? I could roll with this. This could work. You know, she actually looks like cute and nice and charming. As opposed to Zegler, who just, you know, honestly, the simplest way to put it is the way a child would put it. Zegler's mean. She's just mean. You can't be mean and be a Disney princess. It doesn't work. And Gadot, Gal Gadot, she's acting mean badly. so you've got the sweet, cute, supposed to be the sweet, cute princess who's mean and prickly and do not like. And then you've got Gal Gadot, who is just gorgeous, and they've uglified her, and she's trying to act mean badly. Dude, it could take me a year to unpack all the levels of bad in this. I will say this is in contention, Snow White, for the worst film of 2025. Like, it's in the running, folks. At the end of every year, I do the top 10 best, worst shows and movies right here on this channel. You're definitely seeing Snow White in the top 10 list. I can pretty much guarantee that.
Even the Japanese question Disney's choice on this. Rachel Zegler is so hated around the world, everyone forgot about Brie Larson.
Star Fury says all the bleach they use in Thailand. Oh, no. Fu Man Blue says he's really got that Kobayashi Maru mindset. Would that be Drunk 3PO? Fu Man Blue says Christina Applegate in the 80s would have made a hot, good SW.
And that's saying something. Personally, I don't think that the equity or representation war we're in is done or defeated in the entertainment industry. It took years for this to take root, and it'll take years for it to phase out. The only way companies too big to fail learn anything or stop is with years of unmitigated failure on repeat. Even one success emboldens them. These companies are not run with logic, they're run with feelings. They're also run by CEOs too cowardly to take a chance on something new. So they continue to butcher legacy IPs, hoping to God it's a license to print money. I'm out of here.
Yeah, and you know the worst part is Eddie said they learn, it just one little success will embolden them. And that's the problem with the Minecraft movie, is the Minecraft movie is not mean-spirited, it's not woke, it's not antagonistic toward the fans. It's just nonsense and basically terrible, and it's just a bad film. But it's gonna make like $1 billion. It's gonna make like 1 billion gazillions, and they're gonna be like, oh, okay. That's all they need. They just need memes. More Smurfs. More Snow White. We need more. More Thunderbolts. Okay, you've had one success out of like 10 catastrophes. What should that tell you? We're on to something. Where we found it. We found the one. We just got to do that again. Now, last week, week before last, back in season 1 of this show, this is season 2, back in season 1 of the Captain's Cast, when last we met ages ago, I said that I hoped that Ryan George of Pitch Meeting would make a pitch meeting for Snow White. I was like, I desperately need this. Well, he delivered, folks. He delivered. Hat tip, Ryan George, pitch meeting. Put a like on that. I haven't seen it yet.
You have that live action Snow White
roll tape
script for me? Yes, sir, I do. Oh boy, time to tap into that hardcore Snow White audience. So at the beginning of the movie, we find out that Snow White's parents...
The hardcore Snow White audience.
Parents named her that because she was born in a snowstorm. Naming your kid after the weather conditions at their birth is a good strategy. That's why I named my son Mistifer. It's why I named my daughter Partly Claudia. Anyway, a couple years later, Snow White's mom dies. Dies from what? From being a parent in a Disney movie. Oh, that'll get you. So then the king meets the evil queen and marries her. Why would he marry someone named the evil queen? Should have probably been a red flag, yeah. Do you have anyone in mind to play her? Just someone who can deliver her lines. No deal! Oh my god. So then what happens? Well, then the frickin' dad disappears and she seizes the throne. Oh no. Yeah, and stuff is dire in the kingdom under her rule. We're talking very muted colors and some dust. That sounds like a nightmare. It's worse than hell. So anyway, then Snow White grows up and her entire facial structure changes and she gets a little Lord Farquaad bob. What? And everyone assumes she's dead, but she's actually working as a maid inside the castle. Why would she be presumed dead if she's been walking around the castle this whole time? Unclear. But one day this cute thief steals some potatoes and he gets sentenced to death, so she goes to save him. How does she manage that? Well, he was just kind of tied to a fence with some loose rope, so she gives it a light tug and saves him. Solving problems with a light tug is...
That's exactly what happens. And the worst part is, the film is, because in the sick worldview of the wokies, everything has to fit the propaganda, right? The propaganda is, we've got to be nice, and we've got to be kind, and we can't have anything that's problematic in a movie. And so you have this situation, right, where Gal Gadot, who is, she may be evil, but she's a stunning and brave woman. And a stunning and brave woman can't be shown to be too evil, because that would be bad. And so there's this scene where she's supposed to be super ruthless, and she's like, you betrayed me, you stole from me, she says to this dweeb. What's his name? The bandit, the dweeb, he's like the love interest. Anyway, whatever. She said, you stole from me, and I do bad things to people who steal from me. So you will be tied to the gate, and you'll stay there. It's like, oh, wow, she's so ruthless. She's so evil. I'm really afraid of her. That's exactly what happens.
So she goes to save him. How does she manage that? Well, he was just kind of tied to a fence with some loose rope, so she gives it a light tug and saves him. Solving problems with a light tug is tight. Okay. So who's this dashing man? What's his dashing name? Oh, you're gonna like this. Jonathan? Anyway, then the magic mirror tells the queen that Lord Farquaad is fairer than her, so she's like, well, she's gotta die now. She wants Snow White dead? Why'd she keep her alive in the first place? Unclear. So then the queen tells this huntsman to kill Snow White, but he sets her free into the forest, okay? And that's when we're gonna see her iconic outfit.
You know what's so funny too is so in the original Fable, right? The original Fable, the huntsman's just a dude doing his job, and he just gets the dirty job, and he is gonna kill her. He's gonna kill her. But when he gets out there, he kind of he takes pity on her. He realizes, I can't do this. It's terrible. And he shows mercy. He's like, just get out of here, right? He can't do it. He can't bring himself to kill this innocent girl, right? That's basically the idea. In this movie, he kind of is already friendly with Snow White. And then when the evil queen is just twirling her mustache and telling him to go kill Snow White, you would kill her for me. And he's like, his reaction almost sounded, it was the equivalent of like, bruh, that's a little harsh. That's kind of how he reacts. Like, oh, I mean, McQueen, really big fan, but God, that seems a little over the top, don't you think? That's kind of, I kind of get this vibe from him in the performance. So he's basically not going to do it right from the beginning. Like, he's not going to do it. You know he's not going to do it. He gets out there. He's like, listen, this is awkward, but the queen, she's just on one today, okay? So I'm not going to kill you. Just, skedaddle. Get out of here. You're just too adorable, Lord Farquaad. I can't do it.
I've got a coupon code for a site called Temu. Maybe we could get one off of there. Yeah, that sounds good. So anyway, then she finds a house and does a little B&E and takes a nap. Just straight into bed.
What's the Temu thing?
Then the queen tells this huntsman to kill Snow White, but he sets her free into the forest, okay? And that's when we're going to see her iconic outfit. I've got a coupon code for a site called Temu. Maybe we could get one off of there. Yeah, that sounds good. So anyway, then she finds a house and does a little B&E and takes a nap. Just straight into bed. Sir, she's had a big day. She ran through trees, fell in water, and saw a bunch of CGI animals. That's a good point. So then we're going to meet the CGI dwarves, and oh boy, do they look like living corpses. And what's their deal? Well, they work in the mines. For who? Hey, shut up, and they have magic powers. They do? Tell me about those. I'd rather not. We're just going to show them having glowing hands once and then never mention it again. Fair enough. And then we're going to have them sing hi-ho. Very polite. Promiscuous women deserve to be greeted, too. What? So then what happens? Well, later, Snow White's going to meet up with Jonathan again.
Hi-ho. I get it. I got that. I understood that reference. I still can't get over it, chat. I cannot get over this mining thing. Like, they get to this mine. It is stuffed. It is massive. It is this massive underground complex of caverns. There's no end to it. And every inch of the walls is gleaming with valuable diamonds and jewels. and they go in every day. They stuff 7 or 8 bags full of priceless jewels. And they go home. Then they come back the next day. They stuff another 7 bags full of jewels and diamonds. And then they go home. And they come back the next day, and they've been doing this for over a century. Why? Why do they do this? What do they do with all these jewels? I can't get over it. It's so amazing.
And his friends, the 7 bandits. Oh,
this is why I say they're stupid people. This is why only dumb people would write this and not wonder. Do we have a reason for this? It was, in the original movie. We hate the original. It sucks. It was made in 1937, very evidently so. Well, I know, but in the original, there was a mine, and the dwarves mined in it and stuff. Well, then put it in there. But no prince saving her, okay?
We're meeting a whole other group of 7. Yeah, one group of 7's not going to be enough this time around. The fans are clamoring for more groups of 7. Are they? Yes. Feels like it'll be tough for people to get attached to this many characters. Actually, maybe. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't care, though. Oh, okay. So then they're going to get attacked by the Queen's soldiers, and Jonathan's going to jump in front of an arrow that was going to hit Snow White. Is he okay? Yep. All right. So let's not talk about it again ever. That works for me. Anyway.
He's fucking fine. Because, of course, so the plot can happen. So we can have plot. They eat glue. They eat glue.
Jonathan takes off to look for Snow White's dad because he might still be alive, and he gets captured. Oh, no. Yeah, so he gets tossed in a frickin' prison cell along with that huntsman guy. Oh, no. Yeah, and he tries pulling on his chains to get free, but it's no use. He's stuck in there. Well, sounds like it's going to be impossible for him to break out of there. Actually, it's going to be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Oh, really? Yeah, see, both him and the huntsman pull on the chains, and then that works, and they get free. Had nobody ever tried that before? Guess not. And there aren't any guards around? None. Well, fantastic. But now the evil queen knows knows that Snow White's still alive, so she disguises herself as an old woman and convinces her to eat a poison apple. To kill her? No, to make her sleep real hard unless someone kisses her unconscious body with some real feelings behind it. Why not try that arrow strategy again? Because they tried that once and it didn't work, and by movie logic, they cannot try again. I feel like it might eventually work though if you keep shooting arrows at her. Impossible. So all the CGI animals see that the queen is doing this to Snow White, so they take off to warn the dwarves. Why don't they warn Snow White if they're right there with her? Hey, shut up again. So then the dwarves get back, but they're too late. Snow White is very much asleep. Wow, I wonder if she'll wake up. She will, because Jonathan's gonna plop his big wet lips on what he thinks is her dead corpse. Very romantic. So she wakes up, and now they gotta go confront this frickin' queen. Yeah, they better. How are they gonna take her down? Oh, well, Snow White's got a trick up her sleeve. She reveals that she remembers the names and professions of the people that now work for the queen. Oh, okay. So, you know, that solves everything and everyone turns against the queen. Wow, well, thank God that worked and that the queen didn't try that arrow thing again. Well, it would have been no match for knowing that this one guard's name is Paul. I guess not. So then the queen destroys the magic mirror, which absorbs her into it, which is how it works now, I decided. Great. So what do you think? Hey, listen, you've described a movie. You're darn right. In court, you wouldn't be able to argue otherwise. And the movie you've described, well, who wouldn't want to watch that?
Oh, I love that.
Hi, this is Ryan George from the...
Nice! Hat tip pitch meeting. Ryan George, another barn burner. Barely an inconvenience. How does she save Jonathan? She just goes, he's tied to the gate with these kind of loose ropes and she kind of just pulls and, you know. And then, like, this is why I say the movie really is like a psychopath trying to tell you about the original movie. That's why this movie's like that, because like, just like they pointed out, Jonathan then it bends down to kiss what he believes is a dead woman. You know, and it's like, oh, so he's a necrophiliac. Wait, what? Well, we didn't mean that. That's not what we wrote. What else is in the stack of stuff, Mr. Producer? We did talk Solo Level. Oh, yes. We have we have a Fleekazoid video. Give me the Fleekazoid video. We're going to do that. So you may or may not know, my dear chat, Ubisoft has released another dumpster fire called Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now, my channel is mostly preoccupied at this time with reviewing films and television. I am not, at this time, reviewing video games, so I just don't have the time to play. I can watch a trash movie and suffer for you, chat. I suffer for you. I suffer. But I don't have the time to play Yakuza or Yaguze. What the hell is his name? The Black Samurai. What's his name? Yasuke. I don't have time to play Yasuke in Assassin's Creed Shadows. So Fleekazoid has played it for me. And we're going to find out what he thinks about this game. Mr. Producer, share screen.
Yo, what's up, player? Sorry, I was just practicing my Japanese. Pimps, we did it. Assassin's Creed Shadows is a hit. Our stock is zooming, so it's actually in the free fall. Tell them we got another 1 million players. Hell, make it 2 million more players. Fuck them, they can't prove anything. It works. The stock is skyrocketing because that's what I do. Go get yourself a snail, Pierre. You earned it. You could also have a negative $2,000 raise. Eat shit and die. Hi, We're fleeking over the little guy, and our consultant division was hired a few years ago to help Ubisoft make Assassin's Creed Shadows the smash hit it is today. In fact, you're fired. The game was too successful. We can't afford you anymore. Which actually leads me to my next point. A disturbing amount of you seem to think that this major success will allow the 19,000 people working here to keep their jobs, and unfortunately, that's just not true. Notice how that number doesn't say number 1 in day 1 earnings? Well, that means we'll be laying off at least a couple thousand Frenchmen, and we'll be replacing them with several more sweatshops. And just as a little side note on all that sweatshop business, we are deeply disturbed that word got out about that. Why the hell do you think we hired them? Because they tuck them in at 5 o'clock and have an office wine cooler? We already tried that, and look at how that worked out for us. We got Frenchies starting a revolution every other goddamn day. You know what the nice thing is about sweatshops? They don't pay them enough to buy picket signs. Allegedly, from what I hear, people say this, I don't know. Listen, I'm gonna middle with you. Thanks to the success of the game, Piendang is gonna get a 2-cent raise on the next one. Of course, that's gonna be monthly though, not daily. The rest of that profit goes to me. I have 3 ex-wives to feed. Speaking of which, you're also fired. My marriage was too successful. I'm getting a divorce. Your salary is gonna help me recoup my losses. Now, flashing back to my years when I was working on the game, my role as chief consultant of dumb fuckery was problem solving. The first problem I noticed:
chief consultant of dumb fuckery. That's a great name for Jennifer Silk or Bob Iger or Leslie Headland.
People, so I said, hit the snail trail, Pepe's. Next order of business, we're making this one another RPG. Nothing says Assassin's Creed like walking into a base, everyone's within level range, but then you get to the target and he can one-shot you with a rock. This is fun, as long as you don't know what that word means or what it feels like. Now, on the point of hating our customers, in the Steam review of every Ubisoft game, people are always complaining about how we're forcing a second launcher on them, which is why we're gonna force a third launcher on them. Fuck, but it's only gonna be a launcher for all the shitty Assassin's Creed games. I want to make a clear line in the sand so that new players don't wander off to a better game that we haven't monetized out the ass. Did the Black Flag have shot to cut the box? That's a great question, Pierre. I hope asking it was worth your life. Note to self, make the guy's ass bigger than Nawe's. Reminder, we are a forward-thinking company. Second reminder, settle that lawsuit for that time when we were a little too forward in our thinking. Hang on, I'm getting cold. Why would you make the dude protagonist also Japanese? We already have a Japanese. Listen, I'll tell you what you're gonna do. Everyone's talking about how they love brotherhood, right? Well, why don't you put a brother in the hood? It'll be like twins.
Oh, jeez. You think it's a joke? This is how these retards at these companies, this is how they think. It's gotta be. It's absolutely how they think. We already got a Japanese in it. We can't have 2 Japanese in it. It's like they're stupid. We're too progressive for that. We're too good of people to have too many Japanese in a film in a game about medieval Japan. That wouldn't be very progressive at all.
With Danny D, the fans are gonna love it. They did not. And whenever he fights, I want you to blast the loudest rap music you got. But not in a racist way. We here at Ubisoft.
Oh God, I can't even believe it. I can't. They stylized the musical score to be like rap when Yasuke is playing. Oh my God. Fuck this company. I hope Ubisoft burns to the ground. Oh, what absolute assholes.
Ubisoft are not racist, so in the least racist way you can, whenever Yasuke shows up on screen, I want you to be blasting that trap music as loud as you can. And I'm not talking yay, I'm talking straight up SoundCloud trap beats with a harp mixed in. I want this shit to sound like Lil Ricefield is just off camera with an Ensoniq ASR. And in the cutscenes, when everything should be all quiet and dramatic, I want you to play the weirdest shit you got. That doesn't fit the setting, the scene.
That can't be real. That's a meme, right? That can't be real. I'm going to assume that's a meme.
or anything. It's perfect. God, these juices are just flowing today. You go fire somebody. You go make something shinier. You go add 1 million players. God, I'm a genius. Now let's talk about the gameplay. We're gonna do a brand new take on the new system where we return to form by changing nothing. Can we all agree on this? Alright, nice, but we need to make these two characters feel distinct but equal, not in a racist way, which is why no ass Norway will be great at every...
Distinct but equal. But not in a racist way.
Thing except combat, and Yasuke will be a little bitch that can't even climb a rock. Unless you don't want him to climb a rock, then he'll be able to climb a fucking rock. I want this man to be like our expert plus difficulty, kind of like that fractured but whole difficulty system. Right around that 15-hour mark where you're getting bored of the repetitive gameplay loop, I want to cure that boredom by giving you even less gameplay options. You want a new mechanic? Pull out your credit card. Don't have the money? Find a country with flexible labor laws, start a sweatshop, and I'll give you some money. Also, that's Spartan kid's been on our crutch for the last 3 games and it's getting old. That being said, we haven't had a new idea come out of this company in 10 years, and I wouldn't want to break the streak. So just make the kick send these rice farmers into the stars! Listen, I got a tea time at 6. We really gotta, let's just stop developing the combat halfway, alright?
Oh my God. Where has Fleekazoid been all my life? Oh, this is fantastic.
The form, shouldn't we have all these mechanics? You're not even speaking American anymore. Listen, we don't have to worry about putting in the other half of the gameplay because it rains. Besides, people don't want flow. They don't want a unique identity. They want something that feels like nothing. And I don't mean unique. I want to remind them of that empty void where their soul used to be, so they fill that void with cash shop items instead of combat. The old power fantasy combat made them feel big and strong. Sarah, look at me. I want them to feel small. And forget flow. Make it all stuttery. I want it stuttery as hell. I've got a nephew with a stutter. He can't say yes without making it a 10-syllable word. Use that as your inspiration. I'll send you a tape later. Speaking of no flow, let's talk about that stealth right now. I want that assassination button to only work half the time. Half the time I want the prompt to assassinate in Assassin's Creed to either not assassinate or not show up at all. I want half the encounters to play out like this. Did I just catch you trying to assassinate shit? I want them to stand around with their dicks in their hands waiting to assassinate in Assassin's Creed. You can assassinate
when Daddy Ubisoft says you can.
Well, so we at least add all these mechanics back from the original games. No, you don't understand. We let them lay down. They don't get anything else. Don't overthink this, guys. These people will buy anything. In 15 years, we'll be selling a JPEG called Assassin's Creed. Fuck you, give me your money, and these people would still pay us $90 for it. Reminder, the poor...
Dude, that's what movies are. Minecraft, fuck you, give us your money. Like, just give it over.
Is feeling stiffer than our executives when they get near the secretaries. Add more flips to distract. Next thing, some guy came up to me the other day and told me we should make a great 12-hour game instead of 80 hours of pondering the rope, so I shot him. But don't worry, I shot him in the game, so it only did 10% of his health. Our games aren't meant to be enjoyed, they're meant to be endured. What are we gonna do, make a memorable short campaign, sell 5 million copies in the first month and immediately get a sequel like some fucking chode? No! I want to lock all your abilities behind 50 fetch quests, and when you go to do that meditation quest as a break from all the fetch quests, I want it to trigger a flashback to that one time where you did a fetch quest. Eat a dick. No, not literally, Yasuke. Don't look at me like that. Stop that. I want to beat the fans down with monotony until they buy the Yasuke farting vent clouds bundle out of some confused idea that that'll bring them joy. Think about it like this. For just $20, you could help me furnish my yacht with high-end Dutch prostitutes. Every day that no one buys a microtransaction, one of our executive goes without a line of coke up his nose. Will you be our snow angel? Then just punch in your credit card and buy any one of these bundles. Speaking of people that need help, the enemy AI programming has been slowly degrading for the last 10 years, and the dev team was asking earlier if they should spend any time fixing it, so here's what I'm thinking. Fuck them? Fuck them. Alright, I'll lay them all off. That's what I thought.
Fuck them? Yeah, fuck them.
Sorry, those are just some associates of mine. I thought I put that on vibrate. All right, I had some ideas for the story. First off, my wife's had 100 rounds of Botox in our last 2 years of marriage. I haven't seen her emote in years. Use that as the inspiration for the facial animations. I'll send you a tape later.
But I can fight.
My pain is constant and sharp.
Actually, I'm already looking at a cutscene right now. I can't tell whether she's happy, sad, or needs to take a shit. You guys nailed it. Forget what I said. Second, with the GDP of Bosnia invested into this game already, I think the voice acting is where we need to start pinching our pennies in our story-focused game. Have any of you ever heard of AI? It's like a digital robot sweatshop. It's brilliant. Future Fleek here. Now, I can't say whether or not we used the AI, but I will say the end result was indistinguishable from a high-end actor such as Daniel Day-Lewis in Lincoln. Check this out.
Karate, judo, sumo, samurai. Nissan, Honda, Mitsubishi, Subaru.
Sorry, my bad. I had immersive mode on. I turned it off. Here you go.
Resentment can grow quietly without much warning after a storm.
Now, on a real note, I want you guys to get your lawyers ready to sue anyone that harasses Ubisoft employees. I want the whole world to know that the only people who can harass Ubisoft employees is Ubisoft. Please, everyone, the applause is really unnecessary. I'm but a humble man to the people, the higher tax bracket people. I put on my Prada slippers, one Sudanese leather monk strap at a time, all right? And that's how I made this game the success that it is today. AC Shadows is such a success that our 18,000 employee company just got cucked by a game developed by one man named Tyler. It's such a success that people can't even run Monster Hunter Wilds, and they're still buying it more than Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's such a success, we just shuttered another studio. It's such a success that we just became 10 cents bitch. It's such a success that our stock's hitting 5-year lows. So eat a dick, chuds. Wait until you see how successful we are after Assassin's Creed Crazy Cat Lady drops. Maybe strong feminine energy can take us to new heights. Right here, Jaw, I swear to God, if you don't give this game oh, you're doing it again. He's running it back. I mean, holy shit, this act. Oh, fuck! Further than ever before!
Oh, I went to the corner.
You
I won. I win.
You won.
I win.
Oh, wow. Sunk it.
Wow. That was a hell of a finish to that video. Hat tip Fleekazoid. Yeah. Oh, the captain is putting in a hard day's work. It's really not. Just hanging out with the sailors and star knots. Where is my chat? My chat crashed on me. Hang on. I'll get it back. There it is. Star Fury is disembarking. Good night, Star Fury. Good to see us. Fu Man Blue disembarking as well. Have a great week. Fu Man Blue. There he goes. We had some fun tonight. We definitely did. Well, my stack of stuff, Mr. Producer. I need it because I think we need one for the road, don't we? Don't we, Mr. Producer? We did Gassed Up Mid. We did Assassin's Creed review by Fleekazoid. I have a couple to choose from. I think you're going to like my choice, chat. It's a Grizzy video. It's a Grizzy video. Now, if you don't know, John Boyega apparently just years after all of the dramas regarding the sequel trilogy, the Star Wars sequel trilogy have run their course, and all the various controversies and fan debates and backlash and all that's run its course, and we've been through 5 years of consistent Disney failure, Star Wars failure. Out of nowhere, John Boyega decides to revive the Star Wars fans are just racist pigs debate. Why? I don't know. But he's having a crash out. Star Wars fans are racist. That's why it's not successful. Well, there is a type of fan which suffers from a terrible, debilitating disease. It's called Shillery by proxy, and they suffer, folks. They suffer. Unlike regular humans with normal social connections and a reasonable and logical brain, they clap like seals for anything that Disney creates. And it is MrGrizzy who studies the shill and their peculiarities in hopes that one day they may be cured and return to the ranks of regular humans. But until that day, his prescription is clear. Heavy doses of laughter and criticism at their expense. Roll tape, Mr. Producer.
Still absolutely destroyed. Disney is the one who dealt with the character of Finn that way. But also the fans still absolutely destroyed this guy and came after him, giving him death threats and all this crazy stuff online. Literally threatened his life for half a decade.
Well, that's a very entertaining story, but unfortunately real detectives have to worry about that little thing called evidence.
So John Boyega takes a page out of Rachel Zegler's book on how to piss off an entire fan base in just one interview, claiming that fans do not support non-white actors in lead roles in Star Wars.
Here we go again.
And of course, flocking to his...
You know, the most insane thing about that is I think you could argue Finn had the most interest from the fans. He had the most interest of the sequel characters. I would argue he was the most interesting character in the sequel trilogy. I mean, in Force Awakens. Like, in the beginning, when you didn't know what was to come, in Force Awakens, I felt he had the most kind of curiosity around him. How was he able to use the lightsaber? Does he have force powers? Is he going to be the one that becomes a Jedi? He should have been. It should have been him that was the Jedi. And I think that it's ironic that he's lashing out at a fan base that probably supports him and his character more than almost any other character in those movies.
His defense are the woke SJW Disney Star Wars shills.
Really? What a shock.
People feel like the presence of people of color, of black people, suddenly takes away. It's woke. What are you doing?
His character was mistreated. He was mistreated by the Star Wars so-called fans.
You're taking away our jobs. You're taking away our existence.
You're taking away our jobs? Nobody is saying that. You're taking our jobs. She's literally using that.
You know, the essence of America.
So many fans
what?
Don't like the character of Rey.
These people are wackos. They are unhinged.
Don't like the character of Finn because they exist in that sequel trilogy. However, if you bring those characters back and do right by them and tell an incredible story with them, then fans are going to like them more.
Okay, two things. First, there is no fixing the sequels. There is no fixing Rey. There is no fixing Finn. That bridge has been burned.
No deal, no dice, shot at and missed, shit on and hit.
And second, even if you could somehow redeem these characters, attacking the fans is not the best way to start, not the best way to extend an olive branch.
John Boyega is trying to make light of this situation, or shine a light, sorry, not make light. Shine a light on the situation to fix the issue.
Yeah, once again, this is not the way to do that. But of course, when all else fails, cry racism, cry bigotry, right?
Because anybody who's harassing an actor online for with racist and toxic comments is clearly not a fan.
The sadness that the forces of bigotry, seep in.
The forces of bigotry, that is what they call us, by the way.
When we're younger, we are more open to just the world is diverse and great. Let's experience the truth of the world. And as we get older, insidious things creep in, and somehow you're okay with.
Yeah, such as the woke mind virus, Shill.
Mace Windu when you were 5 because the world hadn't told you that Mace Windu shouldn't be there.
These people are such assholes. I was in high school when the prequels came out. I thought Mace Windu was cool. He had almost no lines in the Phantom Menace. He had like no lines in it. You should have seen the marketing for Phantom Menace. I remember it was massive. It was like all the restaurants. Taco Bell had a massive campaign where you could collect these little tokens with all the characters like Watto and Senator Palpatine and Mace Windu and Yoda. And so we knew in advance, Darth Maul, we knew in advance all the characters, right? And everyone was super excited about it. There were all these theories. Obviously, Senator Palpatine, we know he's going to be the bad guy, but we're like, where's he going to fit in? Who is this Princess Amidala? And so there were all kinds of fan theories, right? And I remember thinking, Mace Windu, Samuel L. Jackson, that's cool. I can't wait to see what the Jedi Mace Windu does. And in the movie, he's got like 2 lines and he never uses a lightsaber. And it was like a huge letdown. That's when I'm in high school. That's like, they're such assholes. They literally create this fake fictional narrative in which there's a racist behind every bush. And then they live in that fantasy world.
There yet.
Mm-hmm.
But now you believe that he shouldn't be there.
What? So let me get this straight. We were not racist during the time of the prequels because we were too young and impressionable to be racist, but now that we're older, our racism has grown and flourished and we're taking it out on Disney Star Wars. And apparently the forces of bigotry...
The forces of bigotry
have now launched a racist campaign against Mace Windu here in the year 2025.
What world do you live in?
My God, do me a favor and hit the like button if you agree with me that these people are fucking insane.
And then all of a sudden, like with the birth of YouTube, you started having people saying, well, we don't like that. I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, God forbid, someone has a dissenting opinion or an opinion opposite of yours.
And now we have a whole culture of people who feel like it is okay to say the most racist and vile things because they're seeing it all over the place.
So what exactly?
No. What we have is a culture created by thought police Karens like you, cancel pigs, as we like to call them, who have terrorized our culture with the threat of being labeled racist or Nazi or misogynist or whatever the favorite word of the day is. You have so poisoned society with your garbage. Every single thing, everything is racist. Everything is sexist. You have banged that drum. You have used up that well every single day for so long that now you have a culture where nobody cares. Those words have no meaning anymore because of wackos like you, madam. You created this culture. You did.
Is she talking about here? And that's a serious question, by the way, because these people, they don't watch our content. They don't listen to what we have to say. They don't read any of our articles or anything like that. So what exactly is making them so triggered? And I think, you guys, I've finally discovered the answer. Thumbnails. Seriously, thumbnails. Thumbnails that paint John Boyega negatively.
Brilliant. That's a great point. That's what triggers, because that's all they see. They don't watch the videos. They don't listen to any of the arguments. They just see the thumbnails, which are meant, which honestly, if we're being honest, folks, the thumbnails, it's our greatest wish that it triggers these wackos, these loons. Like, nothing would make me happier than a thumbnail I made to trigger these loons. So it's the thumbnails. Oh, he's so right about this.
thumbnails that make fun of John Boyega. Titles of the video as well also sometimes get under their skin, and of course, obviously, the fact that these videos get more views than they do. It's the only tangible thing I ever hear these shills complain about with regards to the toxic fandom.
I made today's thumbnail, or today's title, John Boyega speaks out about Disney. That's a good, hopefully you guys click on that. Maybe, I don't know. But I could have made it, John Boyega is absolutely done with Star Wars.
I love how in his own chat, he's got people trying to make, my face is covering it up here. In his own chat, he's got people that are trying to make reasoned arguments about why they don't like the sequel trilogy. Notice how they have to tiptoe around it because of what? Because they're afraid of what wackos like this will call them just for not liking it. Because you got this one guy saying, I didn't hate it, but killing Luke off rubbed me the wrong way. If they only kept him alive to keep training Rey, I wouldn't have been so disappointed. And it's like, you've got these people who have legitimate critiques of the sequel trilogy, and they can't even speak their minds in this goober's own chat because he's a wacko, like all the shills. Because if you dare criticize the Disney sequel trilogy, you're a racist. You just don't like that a black person is in it.
He hates everybody. He's going to like, I could have made it a lot worse to get you guys to click on it. I could have put John Boyega's face with like Kathleen Kennedy crying and then be like, oh,
we're probably going to see lots of videos on YouTube about this with some laser eyes, right? It's just like, oh my gosh, please.
Rent-free. Rent-free.
The negative ones, they get all the views. They do all they get all the comments and all the wars in their comment sections. They like to antagonize the Star Wars fans to make them click more and comment more to get more interactions and to get more money.
And the reason they get more clicks, more views, more engagement, and more quote-unquote money is because a majority of the Star Wars fandom agrees with them. They don't agree with you. Mainly because of brain-dead, ridiculous takes like this.
Disney is the one who dealt with the character of Finn that way. But also the fans still absolutely destroyed this guy and came after him, giving him death threats and all this crazy stuff online. Literally threatened his life for half a decade.
If you're seriously going to come on here and say that, then you need to show the receipts. Then we can have a conversation. Then we can have a debate about it. You can't just come on here and say John Boyega has been receiving death threats for half a decade and not show any proof. You can't just come on here and say without any receipts whatsoever that toxic YouTubers you hate
feel like it is okay to say the most racist and vile things.
And you for damn sure look like a complete retard when you come on here and say that there is a racist campaign in the year 2025 against Mace Windu of all people.
And somehow you're okay with Mace Windu when you were 5 because the world hadn't told you that Mace Windu shouldn't be there yet. But now you believe that he shouldn't be there.
Alright, dude, you guys are fucking retards.
Alright, everyone, that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe.
Hat tip MrGrizzy. And there he goes. Quite the legend is MrGrizzy. And what I would say to that, babe, is it's not so much that we think it's okay to say what we think. It's that we don't care whether you think it's okay or not, because it's not up to you. We don't care whether you think something is racist or not, because your opinions are based on lies and are irrelevant. And you're losing. You're losing. Because never forget, my dear chat, never forget.
We're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday. But as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night, we will not vanish without a fight, we're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
That's right, President Whitmer. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day. Redoubt Productions says there are two worlds, reality and La La Land. Take a guess. Where does the shill live? They live in their own reality. Let's pull back on that music just a little bit. The captain has to say farewell. Well, that's our show, my dear sailors and starnauts. That is our season premiere of the Captain's Cast after a long break and hiatus. We are back and will be back and will continue to be back forever and ever and ever. In fact, I promise I will never die. I make that promise to you, my dear chat. And I don't make it lightly. And so, my dear sailors and starnuts, thank you for joining me. Thank you for helping me meme on Hollywood. And I'll be watching Solo Leveling. It's a nice palate cleanser, I have to tell you. Redoubt saying, and ever, forever and ever. Come play with us. So make sure to like, subscribe to the channel, videos incoming. The permalink to Discord is in the description. I am your host, Captain Garrett of the Swords and Starships channel. And until next time, I will see you out there.